خلونا نعتذر للمشاهدين، نعتذر للخطأ اللي حصل. ظاهر انه في واحد كان يعني بالذات شبكه بتاع جوبك اتلوت داون النتورك، فاللي هيحصل انه هو انا ما جوبك I will not argue with the speakers because and the other things also انا بخلي 3 speakers only up. بعدك لو انا داير نستضيف ثاني زول بعدك we will figure out how we run we deal with it. So because it look like يعني لما نخش النازل كلهم كده هسه ده بيضيف الشبكه وبيبقى صعب علينا انه تستمر الحوار. فاتمنى من الناس المشاهدين عملوا شير لعدي. مرحب سيادة السفير ايمانويل، هو رجع. ميان انا رسلت لك اللينك، تريزا رسلت لك، دول I send you the link. So رسلت لكم اللينك.
شبابي وعاشق الجنة، الجنة وفي الجنة عذابي صابر بتألم والمرضى شرابي بين الراح يحليل أحبابي نور العين نور العين نور العين نور الشعر الناعم الشعر الناعم سلمي والوجه الناعم نور قمرني وعيون عساك العسالة برموش.
يا مرحبا بكم مجددا، وخليني اعتذر لكم للحصل. It look like الفورم هنا انا خليه ب4 متحدثين. يعني من خلال الحصل قبل افضل لنا انه نخلي المنبر ب4 متحدثين. بعدك بعض المتحدثين ممكن يكونوا تاير from time to time so we can change. ممكن يكونوا قاعدين في استديو. نرحب بكم. يعني معلش يعودوا مشاكل بتاع التكنولوجيا. انا طبعا ندي كل زول دقيقه لانه شو الشو الفات داك شكله I'm going to delete it because هو ما متقابل. فده يكون ده this is the real show اللي احنا نكونوا موجودين فوقه. فخلينا نبدا بالسفير ايمانويل، تفضل.
First of all, Edward, let me take this opportunity to thank you for according me the chance to attend this 3rd round of our discussion on federal and what kind of system that is best for our country. Also, let me take this opportunity to greet our colleagues Maulana Mayen and Dhol Larjin, and also our audience who are faithfully watching this evening or this night, whatever they may be. And I hope the discussion will be interesting and will be intellectual and in a calm atmosphere. So thank you.
شكرا سيد السفير. مولانا ميان.
Thank you, Bajmandis. Greetings, Ambassador Emmnuel, my brother Dhol Larjin, and Ambassador and Maulana Tereza, and the viewers. I think this is a timely topic because the peace agreement says that South Sudan should be governed under a federal democratic system. So federalism seems to be now the way forward. But through our discussion, I think we will see whether this is going to be successful, or we explain on the way to a fully fledged federal state and the prospects of success. So thank you for bringing this timely topic. The Ministry of Federal Affairs already in South Sudan is going around the states to explain the concept of federalism, so that when a referendum is carried out, our people will vote for a federal state. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maulana Mayen. Let me give the floor to Ustaz Dhol Larjin.
Yes, thank you very much, Engineer Edward, my colleague Emmnuel Ajawin, Mayen Dengdit, and Sister Tereza. I wanted to say hi to everyone who is looking at us right now or listening online. My name is Dhol Larjin, the leader of the UPLS, and I am glad that we are discussing this topic today because it's really very important for a country. I believe it will be done like 2005 and 2011. Our country will be great today. Will not have this care. Thank you.
I couldn't find it.
Continue, sorry. You finished? Well,
yes.
Thank you so much. Let's go to Sister Tereza.
Yeah. Once again, thank you, Brother Edward, for actually coming back again for this great topic that's already started 2 weeks ago. And now we are continuing in this week about this great topic that we want to find a solution for the ill of our country, especially when we are talking about the system of the governing in the country. So the federal system, throughout the history of the people of South Sudan, they have called for it for a long time, since 1947. And so it's the time for us now to actually talk about it, to give the awareness to our people, especially since we agree last week, or the two gentlemen, Emmnuel and Dr. Francis, they already agreed that the federal system is the best system for our country. So here also I want to thank my colleague or the panelists, Ustaz Dhol Larjin and Maulana Mayen Dengdit and Maulana Emmnuel, for this topic of today. I hope will also satisfy the viewers. And I want to also thank our viewers who are always giving us a beauty of these programs, whether on the social media, to take this opportunity that we should come and discuss as intellectuals. Yeah, thank you, Brother Emmnuel, Brother Edward, and God bless you.
شكرا Sister Tereza, ومرحبا بكم مجددا. It look like فعلا المشكلة كان من الشبكة بتاعت Jubek. So later on, Jubek, if you are watching the show, I will add you to contribute through Messenger. So this is the only thing I can do, because we need to keep a show going apart from falling from time to time. لسه ما انضم لنا دكتور فرانسيس وكيادي. later on لو هم انضموا برضه we'll see what we'll do during the show. خلينا نرحب بكم للمرة الثانية ونرحب بالمشاهدين، وأتمنى من المشاهدين إنه تعملوا شير للشو بتاعتنا. النقاش زي ما أنا ذكرت قبل، let me repeat it again، إنه النقاش ده يفترض إن إحنا نبدأه في 2011 زي ما ذكر مولانا إيمانويل في الشو الفات، لأنه واحدة من القضايا الآن المهمة والقاعد يعني تدور في الدول الخارجة من النزاعات هي قضية بتاعت اختيار نظام حكم المناسب للدولة نفسها. ونحن كدولة بتاعت جنوب السودان من 2011 والأول 2013 دخلنا في الصراع ليومنا هذا، وكلنا كشعب في جنوب السودان شهود على ذلك. إنه واحدة من المشاكل اللي خلت إنه جنوب السودان يكون في وضع الموجود فوق الليلة هو نظام الحكم. ولذلك المتحدثين اللي قاعدين فوق ديل السفير إمانويل كادر سياسي وعنده باك جراوند خلفية قانونية، أيضا مولانا مين وكذلك مولانا تريزا، أستاذ دول لارجين هو الرئيس بتاع الحزب وهو ملم، الدكتور فرانسيس رئيس بتاع الحزب وبرضه one of the intellectual and our sister كيادي. الناس اللي بيسالوا تهدينه اللي انا قاعد اجيب the same faces، لانه القضيه هنا قاعد نناقشه هي القضيه بتحتاج للمساهمات فكريه، وبيحتاج انه الزول اللي لازم نجيبه عشان نناقش القضيه لازم يكون ملم you have background about what we are talking about. That this number one. ده السبب اللي انا في الاداره بتاعت منبر خلاني انه نعتمد على المتحدثين اللي انتم شايفينه قدامكم in addition to دول لارجين الليله. النقطه الثانيه اللي انا داير برضه نثبته للمشاهدين قبل ان هنا ما نمشي عشان ما يكون في غلط لكلنا في المنبر، الفكره بتاعت الفدراليه، المفهوم الكونسبت بتاعت الفدراليزم نفذها هي نظريه بترجع لواحد قسيس الماني اسمه جوهان. وجوهان اخترع، بدل كان في كتاباته قاعد يتكلم عن الفدراليه في just one دقيقه بيتكلم عن فدراليه من كان بيكتب في مقالات من سنه 1557 لحد سنه 1638. النقطه دي انا لازم اثبته للناس اللي قاعدين فوق عشان ما يكون في غلط، على الاقل النقاش بتاعنا يكون عنده ساينتفك بيس. وتحول المقالات اللي كان بيكتبوا الفيلسوف يتحول للكتاب، طلع في سنه 1603 والكتاب والطلاب بتاع العلوم السياسيه those are watching this show انتوا بتعرفوا انه what I'm talking about. وبرضه النقاش اللي انا قبل برضه اللي انا مشيت تعباته في شكل النقاش بتاع الفدراليه في السودان، السودانيين برضه اشاروا للفيلسوف جوهان في انه المقترح بتاع النظام الفدرالي وكده. الكتاب كان اسمه، العنوان بتاع الكتاب اسمه سياسه ارض منهجي ومؤسس بنماذج شاهده ومقارنه. ده العنوان بتاع الكتاب بتاع جوهان طلعوا في سنه 1603. جوهان انا داير اشير لكم ركز على اشار لنقطتين مهمين، انا داير اشير للنقاط دي. النقطه الاولى اشار له هو ركز على حريه المجموعات المؤلفه للفدراليه اكثر من تركيزه على حريه الفرد داخل النظام الفدرالي. النقطه ده مهم جدا اننا نشير له في النقاش بتاعنا، وما يتكلم الكتاب حتى في نظرياته هو ما يتكلم عن حريه الفرد، لكنه يتكلم عن المجموعات اللي بيكون الدوله الفدراليه زي جنوب السودان. هسه اننا بنتكلم عن المجموعات الموجوده في جنوب السودان لتحقيق الاستقرار. النقطه الثانيه لا عشان الزمن انا ما داير اشير للنقطه الثانيه، النقطتين لانه الخلاصه بتاعه هو في بالذات بتركز على النقطه اللي انا ذكرته قبل شويه. let me share this one. النقطة الثانية هو ركز على سهولة التبادل التجاري والاقتصادي بين المكونات الدولة. النقطة نمرة 2 يركز على الإبداع. 3 إبداع وتنوع في الممارسة الإدارية بين الوحدات الفدرالية. النقطة نمرة 4 يركز على ابتكار أساليب فعالة في تقديم مزيد من الخدمات وجودة أفضل. طيب في الحلقة اللي فاتت دكتور مولانا مين ونينا ماشيين نختم، هو جا ركز شويه كده انه الفدراليه طبقت بعد الحرب البارده اللي هو بدت بعد بوست كول وور ايرا. وافتكر معظم الدول حسب البحوث اللي انا مشيت برضه رجع له انه ستارت ادوبتنج الفيدرال سيستم بعد في الدساتير بتاعهم بعد الحرب العالميه تقريبا الثانيه. واحده من الابتداء من الدول اللي بدات تطبق النظام الفدرالي عندك بلغم، بدات طبقت الفدراليه في سنه 1996. عندك روسيا 1993، عندك بوسنيا اند هرسك 1995، عندك اثيوبيا بدات تطبق نزل الفدراليه في دستورها في 1995، عندك ساوث افريكا في 1996، عندك فورما يوغوسلافيا ريبابليك اوف ميديسينيا 2001. عندك العراق بدأ تطبق الفدرالي في 2005. عندك نيبال بدأ تطبق في 2015. نيجيريا طبقة الفدرالية في دستورها في 1963. عندك جزر القمر في سنة 1975. وعندك كاميرون في سنة 1972. ده الدول اللي بدأت تطبق الفدرالية بالذات بعد الحرب العالمية الثانية، والناس بقوا يشوفوا إنه الدول دي عندها مشاكل ولازم المشاكل دي تخاطب وتحل هذه المشاكل. اللي أنا داير أضيفه لكم إنه the same discussion النقاش بتاع نظام الحكم برضه التطبيق الفدرالي أو غيرها مستمرة في بعض الدول. الآن أنا قاعد نتكلم النقاش مستمر في أوكران، وبرضه نقاش برضه مستمر في سوريا، وأيضا النقاش كذلك مستمر في ميانمار، ونقاش مستمر في ليبيا، ونقاش مستمر في ساوث سودان، النقاش مستمر في السودان في كيفية تحديد الحكم المناسب أو تطبيق الفدرالية. أنا عندي حاجة زي 5 question، وأنا داير المتحدثين يكتبوا الكويشن ديل because they will actually be base of our discussion. بعد ذاك أنا برضو في نقاش أنا داير أرجع لها لكم أنتوا كمتحدثين. بعد ذاك we'll start the discussion. Question number 1: are we one people or are we really one people and one nation؟ هل نحن كشعب بتاع جنوب السودان are we really one people and one nation؟ And this question need to be answered. لأنه واحد من الأسئلة اللي يظل دائرة أنا أفتكر عن فراوزي. أنتوا سامعني؟ أنتوا سامعني مش؟
صوت بتاعك قطع شوية كده.
يا لأنه في الشبكة بتاعي فيه مشكلة.
انت كده السؤال الاول انا كتبته، انا ما اعرف السؤال الثاني ما سمعت.
السؤال الثاني: what do we want from federalism؟ what do we want from federalism؟ question number 3: why do we need to have federalism؟ why do we need to have federalism؟ ليه مثلا why do we need it؟ the question number 5: what South Sudanese all have in common؟ اللي هنا مثلا كشعب بتاع جنوب السودان what we have in common. Those are 5 questions.
They are actually 4. There are 4 questions.
Question number 1 انت كتبته مولانا.
Yes, question number 1 is are we one people and one nation? Number 2,
okay,
what do we want from federalism?
Yeah.
Number 3, why do we need federalism? Number 4, what do we have in common in South Sudan? That's number 4.
Yeah, okay, yeah, number 2 انا نسيت number 2 خطوة number 2 why the federalism matters. This is number 2, why federalism matters. So then we'll come to the question, because the question number 2 is related to answering the question number 3. So why federalism matters. أنا داير أسير النقاط
Before you go ahead, we will not have 4 questions, 5 questions, because question number 1 is are we one people and one nation? That will go also with the question number 4. What do we have in common? Because if you answer question number 1, it is also tell what we have in common and what we don't have in common. So you can delete question number 4.
But it should be fine. It should be fine because here the first one is actually talking about 2 concepts: the nation and people. So this is something else. But when we are coming to what South Sudanese want from federalism, كده كرر السؤال الرابع ده يا إدوار.
السؤال الرابع هي
لازم يقعد كده.
السؤال الخامس زي ما قالوا مولانا مانويل هو what South Sudanese have in common. لكن زي يعني في رأيي أنا أتفق مع كلام بتاع إيمانويل أمباسدور إيمانويل إنه if we answer question number 1 تلقائيا بكون we answer question number 5. So already let us take we have 4 questions.
Okay.
Yeah, let us take 4 questions. برضو أنا دايركم عشان هنا why we need.
معلش لو قاطعتك I wanted to finish that and then question number 3. What do we need from federalism? Question number 4, why do we need federalism? It's the same question actually.
خلاص احنا نخليه اثنين سؤال بس.
انت عارف؟ Yeah, أنا actually I think about them, but أنا لما قبل also I put a research يعني أنا عندي concept من وانا اللي أنا خدت the two questions there. But let us take it. أنتوا سامع صوت لأنه في مشكلة في الشبكة. سامع صوت يا مولانا؟
سامعين. فهسه نتفق على شنو؟ السؤال الأول والسؤال الثاني ولا كيف؟ ولا أجر نلمهم كله يكون سؤالين ولا؟
Okay. Let me do this. أنا هنا خلينا نتفق على السؤال الأول خليه يكون قاعد في محله. السؤال الثاني خليه يكون قاعد في محله. Let us take a question number 4 and let us cancel question number 3. Yeah, let us cancel question number 3 and question number 5. So we'll go with question number 1. Al-Hua, are we one people, one nation? The question number 2 will be why the federalism matters. And question number 3 will be why do we need to have federalism? So these are 4. We put them to guide us in discussion. Challenges also we need to put them when we are discussing a topic. Number one, we have the issue of reducing poverty in Jubek Sudan. That while نحن بنتكلم إنه الفدرالية بتكون مهم لتوزيع السلطات. عندنا issue we have. أنا ما أقدر نتكلم. just I need to mention النقاط اللي أنتوا نحن بناخدها في الحوار. Because this is a main problem in the country. Number one, the issue of reducing poverty, and number 2 is issue of illiteracy. who عندنا 70% of the population in South Sudan they are illiterate because of this system we are implementing now. Number 3, the issue of infrastructure في البلاد. Number 4, the issue of improving the lack of unity في جنوب السودان. Number 5, the issue of security South Sudan. Number 6, the issue of economic. Number 7, the issue of communication and transportation network. Number 8 is the issue of dominance of one tribal group over the rest. And I hope this one is also clear to all of you. Number 9 is the threat of ethnic violence. Number 10 is the issue of democratic institution. Number 11 is the issue of distribution of resources and the benefit across different ethnities. Number 12, the issue of legitimate government. Number 13, the issue of good leader. Number 14, the issue of tribal leader also. Number 15, the issue of development, both social and human. Number 16, the issue of the governance, and is the main while we are here tonight. Number 16 is the issue of the cattle raiding. Number 18, the issue of cows migration. They move from where is one of the issues also. It need also to be addressed. How can we solve all this? Number 19, the issue of balanced development. Number 20, the issue of the tribalism. Number 21, the issue of social justice. Let us start the discussion with Ambassador Emmnuel Ajawin. Let us agree, first of all, on time. Are we taking 7 minutes or we are taking 10 minutes?
I think 10 minutes is good.
let's say 7 minutes, and then if the person needs more, then you can add the 3. I know sometimes when someone speaks for 10 minutes, the others will be bored. That was just my point here. Okay.
Maulana Mayen.
I think 7 to 10.
Okay, that is fine. The Dhol Larjin.
Yeah, I think 7 minutes is. I think 7 minutes is fine. Just because we want to keep it as interaction.
Thank you, Baj Mahandis.
Yeah,
and I think the questions that you have put forth is very helpful in terms of directing the discussion.
exactly.
By the way, as if you read my mind, I was going to start from that premises of whether South Sudan, are we yet a nation? Are we a nation or we are a state? This is the most important question, because once you answer this question, you'll be able to give correct diagnosis of the problem itself, and also to be able to give the correct prescription to this disease that we are facing today and all the ills, be it social, political, economical ills that are facing our country. Now, the question of if South Sudan is a nation is not only a philosophical question, but it is a real question. What is it? What is it that unites me in the most extreme north of the Shuluk with the Azandi in the extreme southwest? What is it that unites Aparatit in western Barghazal with Murle, La Kurnyang in Bibor? What unites Gadkwat with another person in Numele, be it Mahdi or be it Pajulu? You know, South Sudan, our unity has actually was cemented by our quest for emancipation and liberation against the Arabization and Islamization of the Sudan. So South Sudan unity was actually a political unity rather than a cultural unity in first place. When the Turks came to Sudan in 1821, this is when Sudan was established. This is when Sudan was born. By then, all the tribes in the Sudan and southern Sudan, by then, everybody was living their own life, having their own form of governance. Some had kingdoms, some had chiefs, some had none, you know. But that's how Sudan was. Now, the political entity of South Sudan, as we know it today, was mostly a creation of the British. After the defeat of the Mahdi state in 1898 by Kitchener, there was a joint condominium rule by the Egyptians and the British. That is when they started developing the policy called Southern Policy, or what they call the Closed District Ordinance, where South Sudan became an entity unto itself. And that is when also the South Sudan Equatorian Corps of 1920 was made. So the British were trying to make an army for South Sudan. And the Equatorian Corps was the beginning of that nuclear of forming an army that belonged to a territory called South Sudan. So you could see South Sudan was a creation, like any other African country, you know, of foreigners. Now, another unity that united us was the 1947 conference, when the British decided to call all the chiefs of South Sudan to ask for their opinion. It was not actually to ask for their opinion, it was rather to inform them that Sudan will become independent, and hence we want you to be part of that united Sudan. The British dropped the policy of South Sudan becoming an independent, because most of the governors in South Sudan at that time, who are ruling the provinces of South Sudan as we know them today, be it Upper Nile, Barghazal, and Equatoria, they had the idea of preparing South Sudan to become an independent republic or to join Uganda or Kenya. After the Second World War, the British dropped this policy, and hence, you know, they moved towards unification of the Sudan. The 1947 conference was the first time to bring all South Sudanese, to ask them on a political issue of what they want. The demand that South Sudanese wanted was this, that the North was educated. You educated the North, you give them all the facilities. You know, we are also not homogeneous. We are Africans, Christians, they are Muslim Arabs. So we need time to develop. We need our own government. And that is when the call for federalism for South Sudan is started. You know, South Sudanese were demanding a federal republic. But North Sudanese at that time, they refused it. They said that we will promise you, you South Sudanese, if you vote for independence of the Sudan, we will give you federalism. But when Aboud took over power, Aboud canceled all the demands of South Sudan for federalism. And the Northerners were saying there is no federation for one nation. federation is separation. Okay? They cancel all of the demands of the people of South Sudan. So from then, there was no talk about federation. That's what forced the Anyanya 1 to form the Anyanya. Now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the 1947 conference, the Equatorian Corps, and then the 1955, the Anyanya rebellion, is what united South Sudanese. But that unity was against the North, was against the Arab. All the tribes united. They knew the Arab were the slave traders. They exploited our country, and hence we needed to resist them and free ourselves from the Arab occupation. So the unity of South Sudanese was a unity against the Arabs. Now, when South Sudan became independent in 2011, Jalaba Biga Mafi, there's no Arab. Arab Biga Mafi. Then the question is, what is the common denominator? القاسم المشترك شنو؟ البجمع القبائل الجنوبية دي كلها وتنوع الجنوبي. Okay? ما في.
You remain with 1 minute for the first question.
That's why I said even 7 minutes is not enough, because you have to give a background, analysis before you go ahead. So you could see that the unity that we united ourselves, South Sudanese, it was actually our quest for emancipation. Now the Jalaba are no longer there. The political elite in South Sudan, especially the SPLM who rule South Sudan, failed to develop a concept of nationalism that unites South Sudan. That concept would have come through the adoption of federalism, where you acknowledge the diversity of the people, then accordingly, everybody should be able, I'm not saying about tribal federalism, but federalism that is based on devolution of powers and wealth. This is a nutshell, but hopefully I will try to get a chance later on to intervene. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ambassador. Let us agree on one thing. And now we need to answer the question one first. Are we one people, one nation? This is the first question. And مثلا لو شفنا إنه 7 minutes is not enough in answering the question, no problem, I can add more minutes. But we need to agree, all of us. Let me go to Maulana Mayen, and then 7 minutes, then we'll come back. Before we close this, we need to agree tonight in the show. So are we one nation or we are not one nation? So Maulana Mayen.
The term nation state has two components. It has a nation and it has a state. A state is recognized by the United Nations. We have a flag, and we have boundaries. And our state was created by, I agree with Ambassador Ajawin, that our state was created by fighting an existential threat from the north. We were united against one enemy that was treating us as Africans, as one group. In 1920, Lord Milner, who was the governor of South Sudan, or he was a member of parliament, I believe, he presented a report to the British Parliament that South Sudan should be governed under a closed districts ordinance. And South Sudan was separated from Sudan. And that was the only time when we saw ourselves as really one people in one territory. Our governors, the governors of the 3 provinces of South Sudan, used to go and meet with their counterparts in East Africa. And they were all British, of course. They were not South Sudanese. But they were ruling over the affairs of this territory called South Sudan. The nations that make up South Sudan are many. Some of them are kingdoms. Shuluk, Zande, Bari was a kingdom, and some of them, these are called state societies that have centralized authorities, just like nation states have centralized authorities. They have a head of state. Then there are stateless societies that do not have centralized authorities, like the Dinka, the Nuer. we have chiefs that govern us. So all these nations came together within this map of South Sudan, of the district, the closed district, to form what was South Sudan. And Ambassador Emmnuel talked about the demand for federalism. In fact, these people in the territory called South Sudan, the chiefs of all the tribes wrote to the colonial powers that we were not ready to be an independent state. At the time in 55, even in 47, when the ground was being prepared for Sudan to be an independent state, South Sudan, Egypt decided to include South Sudan as one to be part of Sudan. But South Sudanese, all our chiefs, the letters are there, even in Juba, in the archive, National Archive. They demanded that South Sudan should be an independent state of its own, South Sudanese should have a state of their own. They are not yet prepared to be independent. But through pressure from Egypt, the British, and because of their interest in the Jonglei Canal, decided to now put South Sudan under one, to be part of Sudan. And because of that, because of our parliamentarians tabled a bill. They said that, okay, if we are to be one, let South Sudan be federal. After all, we have not been part of you for almost 45 years or something, or 60 years. Now let us maintain this division and be a federal state if you don't want us to be fully independent. The main aim was for us to be a fully independent country, and that was the aim for us. That was the intention of the British, of the colonialists. Now, the Arab rulers in Khartoum decided to deny us our nation state. One, they also denied us federalism. And that is why our people took up arms in 55, knowing that federalism was denied in parliament, in the national parliament. So our people indeed called for federalism. But let us look at the bigger context, bigger continental context, where the people were talking about the United States of Africa, those of Nkrumah, Ben Bella, and they were writing that we need a federation of the states of Africa. They were talking about that we are too small as nation states to stand against bigger powers. We need to come together as a federation of states to create the United States of Africa. That was not to be, but that was the context. Eritrea, which was also an independent country until the colonialists brought them together, like Tanganyika and Zanzibar, which were brought together to make Tanzania, Somaliland and Puntland, which were brought together to make Somali. All these entities that were forced together, the House of Fulani Kingdom, which was one of the biggest kingdoms in Africa that deserved a state, were now brought together with the southern region to form one country. And you see that all these entities that were independent decided to get into civil war. In Nigeria, people fought. These entities fought. In Ethiopia and Eritrea, they fought. South Sudan and North Sudan, they fought. Somaliland and Puntland, they fought. So it's this demand for federalism that was with the context of independence. It was not only within nation states, but between entities that saw themselves as nation states. Now, as we go forward, we will see that.
You remain with 5 seconds.
Okay. Is it 7 minutes or 10?
7. That while Ashankida Kalama Galo Emmanuel Gibel, the next round actually I will go with 10 minutes because the way I look at it now, we will not benefit. Will not benefit. You just go take 3 minutes to let me give you 10 minutes so you can complete. Yeah.
Well, I was now as we take this chronological order, we were denied federalism and there was a civil war. And the only time that there was peace in South Sudan when our were given autonomy under the Addis Ababa agreement. We actually called for even federalism under the Addis Ababa agreement, but the northern elite decided to deny us federalism and gave us autonomy and a regional government. We will talk, that was our first experiment with self-rule. And I think that I will stop here, but we will proceed from there.
Thank you. Thank you, Maulana Mayen. وعشان كده قبل كلام قاله Emmnuel إنه we go with 10, but the next question will go with 10 because we need to benefit. Let listen from our sister Kaidi. Kaidi. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you, Brother Edward, for giving me the opportunity. My apologies. I got caught up in something else and I was a bit late, but I managed to get myself together and get to the show. I thought that my other two colleagues would be talking before me because I came the last one, but I'm happy also to just make the show a short intervention here based on what I look at it, whether as South Sudanese we are one people and one nation. Actually, I want to talk from the era after the Addis Ababa agreement because this is the era when I grew up in South Sudan since I was a baby, interacted with my friends, neighbors, and everybody around me. So I think the era after the Addis Ababa agreement, South Sudan has seen a relative unity among its people. And to tell you the truth, when we were growing up, at that time, you never know who that person, what is the tribe. You just know yourselves that you're South Sudanese. Not like you are friends in school, you are neighbors. Sometimes even your neighbors are closer to you than your relatives. And I still can imagine that when I was little during the demonstration of the Jungule Canal, and when one student was shot, and how South Sudanese was so united at that time without regarding at who was the person who dominated how much. No, nobody asked that, but it's somebody got killed, and that was it, to get everybody out in the street. So we have to also think about the role of the Sudan government, Al-Huwa Khartoum, in trying not to have South Sudanese be united. So that's where Nimeri played his card and tried to divide us, and he succeeded. And the first division of South Sudanese was when the issue of Kokara came. I don't want to talk about why or whether it was right or wrong, but what I want to talk, our divergence into 3 different regions now brought these sentiments about, okay, I'm from this, and whatever happened to all of us during this time in Kokora, we started to feel, okay, maybe I was mistreated at this time at this place, so I have to hate those people. I had to hate those people in Juba. I have to hate those people in Malakal based on what I was treated and what I related to my people. And then we started to come with our regional sentiments as people of this region or this town in South Sudan. So after Kokora, most of us we have parents who didn't appreciate the Kokora, who left, decided, okay, my dad is one of them because he's politics in South Sudan is not good anymore. So he quit. He went to Khartoum like many others. Others went to work in Masaleh, Al-Tabi لحكم Jubek for Khartoum, and others just left everything and decided to go because they didn't like it. And when we met in Khartoum, this is where we came back in Khartoum as South Sudanese who love ourselves because of the second enemy that we had, the Arabs. Like Emmnuel Ajawin has explained, yes, we were united against what the Arab was doing to us as South Sudanese. So that was another relative period of unity for us as South Sudanese. Plus, after the formation of the SPLM, the charisma of Dr. John Garang also helped, because Dr. John Garang was talking about unity. He was talking about the national as a national leader. His messages also brought us together, and that's why we had that imagination that one day we will be a country, and we preferred, because of Dr. John Garang, we'd rather be a country than stay with our enemies in the north. Now, after we lost John Garang, of course, we came under the leadership of Salva Kiir. So this is when things started to go to become worse because of the bad policies that President Salva Kiir brought to South Sudan, especially when he started depending on what is called the Jain Council of Elders. They were telling him, do this, do that, and they started to look at the masalih bita Denka and all that. So that's why you see that thing comes out. But other people are experiencing the same thing. However, Kiir doesn't. It doesn't bother him, and we will talk about that when we come to talk about the tribal hegemony. And I would like to give an example. If we are not one nation, we are supposed to feel it, and if we are not one nation, we will feel it right away. And I like, when I give example, I don't like to give example with something that happened 100 years ago. I want to give an example about something that happened last week, and by people like us who are living in the diaspora, who are seeing good systems of governance and how people live as a nation. I want to bring an example last week when the Lake State media brought in to talk about Western Barghazal. So they didn't question the references that Rizek was talking about, because Rizek was saying, Nazjo, Ligo Wow, Mafoguzol. But there are reference books there. Like, where is the reference with Rizek? It's not because Rizek is telling the truth, but it's because they want that. This is what they want to say. This is the truth. And they want to tell this to people who do not understand, who do not. And regardless of there are people in Western Barghazal or not, they don't care about that. This is the problem. This is one of the examples. So if the people of Lake State see us as citizens, like themselves, if this issue, this word like that is called compatriot, they would not have allowed that to happen. But for them, no. As long as it's the Fertit, we love that. Let it go. Let it happen. The other thing that I would like, I just want to give an example.
Yeah,
with
you are 7 minutes over.
Okay, that's okay. Fine. I'll talk later.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sister Kaidi, and for giving also example. That is very good in our discussion tonight. I'm going to fix the issue of time later on. I'm the one who will decide. I will not ask anyone what I should do. Let's go to Dr. Dhol. Yeah, because of discussion, I have to intervene here. Dhol, take your 3rd minute.
Okay. First of all, do you hear me, guys? Because
yes.
Oh, okay, very good, very good. Okay, yeah. Quickly, I wanted to go to the point, which is the question that we are we one people or one nation? I strongly think, based on the research that I did and based on my experience in Juba, working with the government, I think we are actually divided. We are not one nation. I have to be clear about that. We are not one nation, simply because I view the country is divided on a tribal line. And for us to be in one nation, there are some values that we have to look at. Okay, we have to look at values that bring people together, and most of you have spoken about that. But you are living in the context of our culture. We have a value, very important value that our people are missing out: the culture, the language itself. And when I talk of these two things as a very strong culture that bring people together, people don't send them, because you look at the way Denka, Nuer, and even the Asholi in Equatoria, they used to call milk sharp, all these people. So these are the things that when we have a nation, people go to the root of the culture. Okay, but because of this, because our culture is lost, then we don't have norm. The norm are lost. We don't have law. We don't have. So what we have is a tribal, and the tribalism was derived from actually from, I think, I will date it to 1899 during the condominium rule. And most of you who know the history of Sudan, you will know what I'm talking about. The condominium rule was that the British and the Egyptian came in South Sudan because they want to control the country. They want to divide resources. And because of that, they divide people into tribes. So that is where we have tribe. Otherwise, before that, people understand themselves, even in Equatoria, and where they will just walk along the Nile, and there was no any problem. So because of the condominium rule, there was a problem of tribe. People were identified as Chuluk, Nuer, Denka, and so on. And that is where tribalism began, actually. So when the condominium failed, some leaders like Mahdi struggled and actually rejected the condominium rule in Sudan. Then we have different things. So we have what we call the center of South Sudan. And the same thing, people learn it. Most of South Sudanese, they learn about this tribal ideology, how to divide people. And it was transferred from British to Arab, and then Arab transferred it to us, we the South Sudan. And that is why our sisters, she talk about very important thing about Kokora. Kokora was derived from 1982, when those of Abel actually were ruling in South Sudan as a separate state. And that is why Kokora was not a call for federalism. I explained that so many times. It was a feeling of Equatorian being marginalized in Juba by the administration of Abel Alier. And that is tribal. Abel Alier, they learned this from the British, they pick it up from the Arab, they transfer it to South Sudan. And that is why today we have a problem of tribalism. Right now, because most of the leaders and many of the tribe learned this, that it is very effective to control and to advance your tribe. That is why we have a problem in South Sudan. In 2005, if discussion like this were open to the society, to the people, this problem will have been solved. But because it was not open, SPLA was working as a people with gunpowder. So no idea was heard. Only if you have a gun, a bunch of gun, then people could listen to you. So there was no discussion to eliminate tribalism first and introduce the government. So my brothers, if we are talking of a real government of South Sudan, for me, I prefer central government, because central system is very important. Our tribe right now is divided. We should not even be thinking about federalism right now. Even most of our colleagues here, maybe you prefer, but central system of government is the best system for our country, because it's a symbol of unity. It's a symbol of uniting the resources under one. Easy even to control the corruption in our country and unite all the tribe. Then from there, you can talk now. If we are united, you don't feel like Acholi, you don't feel like Chuluk. You feel like a South Sudanese, and you can live anywhere across South Sudan. This is where people will begin talking about federalism. I'm not going to take much, because there are a lot of things that I wanted to talk and touch up and there, and because it's long, I wanted to keep mine short. What I'm saying here, we are not one, for your question. The country is divided in tribal line.
Thank you.
And we have to solve this. Okay. Do I have a couple minutes to begin talking about? How many minutes left?
No, just is 56 seconds. So.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I use my time. Very good. Thank you, guys.
Use your time. Will come. I'm going to give you guys more minutes. Don't worry, because we will be here all of the in the floor, just the 4-5 people. So don't worry. Let's go to Sister Tereza. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. It's good always to listen to people when they're giving their view about this topic, this great topic of federalism. We already agree that the federal system is the system that it's actually will suit us. So I disagree with my brother Dhol Larjin.
We are not talking about that. Let go. We are now answering the question.
Yeah,
One people or one nation?
Yeah, of course, I'm going to that. But I have a right within my my time frame. I have a right to say whatever.
Okay, go. Say whatever you want to say.
Yes.
In your mind, you need to answer the question.
Yeah, of course. I'm going there. This is my beginning.
Okay,
you cannot,
go ahead.
So the thing I want to say here, if we are coming to the notion of the one people, one nation itself, لو احنا قدرنا نتكلم عشان كمان نكون فعلا الناس اللي بيتكلموا باللغة العربية، احنا لما نيجي نقول one nation, are we really one nation؟ هل احنا أمة أو شعب؟ ده كلمتين، ده مدلولين مختلفتين تماما. لأنه مدلول بتاع الأمة براو ومدلول بتاع الشعب براو. الأمة بيجي لأنه هم مرتبطين، لأن هم جماعة، هم ممكن يكونوا من جد واحد، هم بيدينوا بالدين واحد، بيتكلموا لغة واحد، هم بيكونوا في حتة معين. لكن انت لما تجي شعب، تجي لمدلول بتاع شعب، ده جماعة من الناس هم بيكونوا مختلفين من جدود مختلفة، ممكن بيربطهم الحاجة اللي بيربطهم هنا اللي هو الأرض، اللي هو إقليم، والصفة برضو اللي هم مجتمعين في حتة. مدلول بتاع الشعب بيرتبط بالسياسة، يعني عنصر بتاع الأساسي هو الظاهرة السياسية بيلمهم. أما مدلول بتاع الأمة بيلمهم ظاهرة اجتماعية، لأن هم جايين من جماعة، من مجتمع من جد واحد بيربطهم حاجة واحدة. فإحنا في جنوب السودان حقيقة، عشان طبعا الجماعة دي القبائل يتكلموا كثير، أدوا التاريخ، صر التاريخ من قديم الزمان أو حتى في أوقات قريبة زي ما قال أخونا كايدي. إحنا ما we are not nation, we are people of South Sudan. قد يكون في وسط بتاعنا في لأنه أصلا جنوب السودان ده ما كان كتلة واحدة، إحنا ما كنا دولة واحدة، كان مجموعات مختلفة. وده الجبال ذكروا أخونا إيمانويل لما جاء كتلة بتاع إيكوتوريا كوكس ومجموعة تبع غزال وبتاع على النيل اتفقوا مع بعض. إنت لو رجعت في مملكة لادو كيندوم أو جاء سموه بأنه في زول عنده صوت تقريبا.
Nazim, let me mute.
Dhol Larjin, you can mute yourself. Yeah,
can you mute yourself? Dhol?
I did.
Okay, yeah, continue.
لو انت رجعت ورا مملكة لادو كيندوم، المملكة دي اتغيرت بتدريج لحد ما وصل سموه بأنه اسمه لادو انكليف. حتى امتداد بتاعه كان لحد فشودة، مملكة بتاع شلو. ده بيوري انه كان في مجموعة من قوميات في جنوب السودان وفي شعوب برضه. فده عشان كده انا بقول لك احنا لسه ما وصلنا لمرحله بتاع انه احنا نسمي نفوسنا بانه احنا امه، لانه مدلول بتاع امه بيختلف تماما من مدلول بتاع شعب. ولذلك انه مدلول عشان احنا نكون شعب، عشان احنا نكون شعب وبعدين نصل لمرحله بتاع احنا نكون امه، الركن السياسي اللي هو او حاجه something to govern us. فعشان كده احنا لازم نجيب سيستم عشان يجمعنا مع بعض، لانه ده عنصر الاساسي اللي بيخلي انه الشعب يكونوا مع بعض. فاحنا لما نيجي حتى في مدلول بتاع انه احنا بقينا مجموعه، بقينا الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان، ده بيوريك انه حتى في فتره لما الناس بريتش جا قعدوا تحت مع الجنوبيين في سنه 47 هم اتكلموا حتى انه هم قالوا يا اخي انتوا ما ممكن تخلونا مع الناس ديل، لانه هم كانوا عارفين فكره بتاع انه شنو احنا شعب، قد نكون شعب في جنوب السودان بمختلف اثنيات بتاعنا، لكن احنا بننتمي كناس شنو عنصر احنا افارقه. فمن فتره داك ظهر فكره بتاع انه هم دارين ياسسوا الدوله على مفهوم انه شنو حاجه يا جماعه. عشان كده هم يختاروا فكره بتاع الفدراليه. فعشان كده نقدر نقول احنا في جنوب السودان احنا لسنا امه، لانه احنا ما جايين من جد واحد. قد نكون احنا مسيحيين، بعد مننا احنا مسيحيين، وعندنا المعتقدات الافريقيه، وعندنا طبيعه مختلفه، طبيعه بتاع حياه بتاعنا. انت لو مشيت في الاستوائيه بتلقى الناس طبيعتهم مختلف، انت مشيت في ناس في غرب الغزال بتلقاهم مختلف، في الشمال بتلقاهم مختلف، لكن بيربطهم هم شنو؟ الارض اللي هم فيه، وبيربطهم منه شنو؟ هم افارقه نعم، لكن بيختلفوا في اللغات. فاحنا لما جينا حاربنا، مصير بتاعنا بقى واحد، قعدنا عشان احنا دي او رجعنا للفكره بتاع الفدراليه، لانه فكره بتاع الفدراليه بيتمركز بانه نازل عندهم في حاجه بيربطهم، حاجه اللي بيربطنا احنا حاربنا عدو بتاعنا، عدو مشترك. احنا بنشوف ده انه كانت ضد افريكانيزم بتاعنا، ونمره 2 هم ضدنا كناس احنا بننتبه عشان عندنا الطريقه بتاع الحياه مختلف. الحاجه الثانيه احنا بنشوف انه الارض اللي احنا فيه ده ارض مرتبط باجداد بتاعنا، فبقى فكره بتاع الفدراليه جات بتجي عشان تجي تحل مشاكل ده. لو احنا جينا احنا قادرين نقول احنا قبائل عشان ننشئ مفهوم بتاع الدوله، فكره بتاع الفدراليه بيشيل مننا فكره بتاع القبليه ده، لانه الفدراليه كان احنا رجعنا له المرتكز بتاع الاساسي اللي هو السلطه العليا اللي هو الدستور، والدستور ده بيضمن القوانين في الشتى توزيع بتاعه سواء كان في الفدرالية العليا او في الولايات، بتخلينا احنا نقدر نمارس حياه بتاعنا بالشكل الجغرافي اللي احنا موجودين فيه، سواء كنا مسلمين هناك او كنا مسيحيين، سواء كنا بنتحدث باللغه العربيه او كده، سواء كنا مزارعين او كنا رعاة، سواء كنا اقتصاديين او ما شابه ذلك الى اخره. فانا اقدر نقول يا اخوي ادوارد في سؤالك الاول، احنا لسنا امه، نحن شعب. الدقيقه بتاعي انتهى.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much, Sister Tereza. I strongly agree with what you alluded. Thank you very much. خلونا نمشي. معلش الشبكه بتاعي فيه مشكله، لكن افتكر صوت بتاعي سامع لكل الضيوف، مش كده؟ يا هنا اتفقنا انه we are not one nation and we are not one people, because التعريف بتاعت النيشن يعني العنصر بتاعت اللغه ما متفق، لانه we are not speaking one language. Number 2, we don't have one common culture. الثقافه بتاعنا ما واحد. عندنا تقريبا 80 ولا 90 ثقافه في جنوب السودان. اذا هنا برضو مشينا في الحته بتاعت جنوب السودان فيه قبيله كم 64 ولا اكثر من كده. ده النقطه بتاعت غلاط سياسي ناس ماشيين فوقه. So let us put it in عندنا 80 قبيله في الجنوب. So we don't ما عندنا لغه واحده قاعد نتكلم به، ما عندنا ثقافه واحد، ما عندنا قبيله واحد. طيب ده اذا كان اتفقنا انه we are not one nation, مولانا Emmnuel Ajawin, let us this question: why federalism is matter here? Because عرفنا انه كجنينا في الجنوب هنا ليه فدراليه مهم؟ لانه هنا ما قبيله واحد، ونينا دايرين نلقى النظام اللي بيقدر يحكمنا كلنا بالتنوع بتاعنا كقبائل على مستوى جنوب السودان. وده كلام اللي قاله مولانا ميان الاسبوع اللي فات، انه بعد الهروبات زي ما الدول اللي ذكرناها قبل، اللي انتم رجعتوا للبلغام ورجعتوا لامريكا ورجعنا لسويسرا. انا مولانا ايمانويل انا اديك I will give you 12 minutes. but انا قبل ما تخش كلكم the next round is 12 minutes. لو في we will add it to 15 minutes because كل زول لازم نديه فرصه عشان ياخذ راحته عشان ما نقطع زول. في كلام قاله بروفيسور ارنولد كولا اللي هو the former president of Suez Confederation. He mentioned two points. هو عمل mention the 2 points. The point number 1, he was saying without federalism the Suez Confederation would not exist. So برضو أنا بعدين I want you to mention that. This is the former president Arnold Koller is saying without federalism the Suez Confederation would not exist. ده كلام هو كان رئيس وبروفيسور في جامعة أستاذ. The number 2 he mentioned, he said there is no general theory of federalism. Listen to Ambassador Emmnuel Ajawin. You have 12 minutes.
No, thank you, Baj Mahandit. And I'm really impressed the way you have carried the discussion itself. زي ما بيقولوا لكن طبعا بدون انك صلاه يعني فمبروك للصلاه، الصلاه ده ما ساكت.
تفضل. شكرا.
It's good that you have started a discussion from the right premises itself, and for asking the legitimate question and the ultimate question that are we a nation yet or not? And now all of us who are here, there's a consensus from the panelists that South Sudan, yes, it is a state with a defined geographical territory, with a defined population, with the power and ability to enter into international relations with other and relationship with others. So, if that is the consensus, that South Sudan is not a nation, and Maulana, Tereza, and others colleagues also alluded to it. Junior Sudan, we are a nation within nations. We are not even tribes, by the way. Do you call Dinka tribe? I don't think Jing are tribe. Jing is a nation. You know, it's composed of various tribes. Will you call Shuluk a tribe? Of course not. Shuluk is a nation. By the way, the Shuluk kingdom is 600 years old. So the Shuluk kingdom existed 300 years before Sudan even exists in 1820. But Sudan was killed by the British in 1820. So the Shuluk kingdom existed from 1500. That means for over 300 years, they have been existing. There was a Britannia, or there was a France, or there was the European countries that were ruled by kings and queens. They are Nyak, also 600 years of history. They are Zandi as a nation, 600 and something years as a nation. So this South Sudan is a sea of nations within a nation. It's a sea of diversity itself. Now, if this is a common denominator, this is a common ground, we have agreed that we are nations within nations, some of us are tribes, then there's a question that we are diversity. Then if we are diversity, what form of governance would be suitable for us?
Exactly.
And that is why many of our colleagues have said federalism is the best form of governance. Why was federalism invented? The countries you have mentioned by Mahandis earlier, even including India.
Yes.
You know, what they did, India had its federal system kind of unitary, but it is kind of federalism since 1947, when they amalgamated their constitution. Okay, those of Nehru and those of Mahatma Gandhi. You know, the Indian also, they are nations within nations. Therefore, in order to harmonize this political, this tribal or nationalities, this diversity, you will have a form of system of governance that addresses the needs, the fear of others, you know, and also not only the fears, but how we could develop a cohesion, a cohesive state that we can call our own, a state where all of us could see ourselves in as a mirror, you know. Federalism, it means what? It means it seeks to reconcile unity with multiplicity, with the centralization, and nationalism with localism. So federalism is actually a formula of governance that will bring all this together. It means dividing the power and wealth from centralized form in the federal government to the state and to the local government. Which means in South Sudan, whether you come from Upper Nile state or you come from whatever, we are saying you give this state. Upper Nile, for example, is composed of no less than 6 tribes. Okay? But they're in one state. You give them the right, you know, to develop their own educational system, their own health system, their own policing, you know, to build their own roads and so forth. Which means you have to give them the economical power that is required for the socio-economical development in these states. Okay. The same thing with other states, you know, and let us compete as the people, as states, you know, among ourselves. Now, if somebody, of course, doesn't have resources, which I doubt, as Maulana Tereza has said once, the Turabzatu is a resource. You can sell it. But let's say, for argument's sake, they have no ability, you know, to support themselves. That is why the central government will come in. And that is why we are saying every state will contribute to what we call the equalization fund. Hanamul fund, trust fund, this trust fund, the government will use it to other states who are lacking behind. That way, nobody is left behind. We are all able together to unite and come forth. Now, let us look at centralization that Brother Dhol was talking about. My brother Dhol, you've admitted that South Sudan is not a nation. So if you're not a nation, how do you become a nation? It's through the diversity itself and looking for a form of federalism to unite us. Because central government that exists today in Juba has not united us. The government that you have in Juba today has been accused of a tribal monopoly. It could be perceived real or unreal, but it is a perception. That is a tribal-dominated government. Other tribes are being persecuted. Genocide took place in Juba, 2013, against a single tribe. We don't even have a national army. People are saying it's a tribal army that you have. Matianganyoro and Rukubany, they are there. They do not reflect the reality of South Sudan. Okay? It is a tribal army that is there. You know? You have a government that's also tribal in terms of the structure and composition. You know? And we don't want to go into the details of it. But these are the realities we're living in South Sudan. Centralized government in South Sudan has proven to be undesirable. It has proven that it actually cements the tribal colonization of others, you know. And South Sudan will continue fighting. Lana Junubi will never accept a master. No, it will never happen. You look at the history, you know. So we are saying, in order for us to avoid the disintegration of South Sudan into Zandistan, into Moristan, into Murlestan, into Shulugistan, into Nueristan, there's a need for us to develop a political formula that will galvanize our unity. And that political formula is federalism, where the states have absolute power, they have absolute power of absolute control of their own wealth. You know, that way we will all emerge and grow organically. That way we will feel as one people. Centralized system, and let me conclude. Sudan was centralized. Sudan, after the independence, Sudan rejected federalism and centralized the power. What happened as a result of centralization? Because في فئة بسيطة حاكمة في الخرطوم في العاصمة المثلث. Okay? بقى بسموا نفوسهم أولاد البلد. Okay? سموا نفوسهم أولاد البلد وقعدوا على الكراسي. Okay? وقعدوا وبقى مثبتين. You know? بقوا كمان دكتاتورين. Okay? وهمشوا الأغاليم. همشوا الأغاليم. حصل شنو حصل؟ هجرة عكسية. أصل هجرة عكسية من الأرياف لخرطوم. لأن الخرطوم ده يا كله فوقه شيء، فوقه مستشفى، فوقه تعليم، حتى جوازك ساكت، لو طلعوا هناك، حتى شهادة ميلادك، لو تطلع شهادة تمشي لخرطوم، تطلعوا. أوكي. شنو حصل؟ حصل بينا في تحميش في الأطراف بتاع السودان. أوكي. As a result أولاد المهمشين وبنات المهمشين شالوا سلاح، تصوروا ضد الحكومة. عشان كده الجنوب انفصل. دارفور شال سلاح. غرب السودان شرق السودان هدندوا شالوا سلاح. حتى شمالنا البعيد ضناقلة وجعالين شالوا سلاح. اوكي ضد النظام. even including center. those of ياسر أرمان جاي من وين؟ ما جايين من جزيرة. فبقى في تحميش. center and centralized system in Sudan, in former Sudan, has never been beneficial. It actually becomes the fertile ground for the demonization of tribalism, for demonization of political hegemony. Therefore, we cannot afford that mistake. That's why I say the Jamaat Tariq de Mihim. History is important. Someone might say, Wallah Tariq de Wallah da Hajat Zaman. But how do you learn? It is via past. Lo inta mandak math past bitak. Lo mandak math inta mandak hadir. Okay? Lo inta mandak math mandak hadir. You got to know your history. So you know where you're coming from and where you're going. So we are saying the history of the Sudan has shown us that centralized system breed dictatorial tendencies. It creates a class that dominates the reign of power and the reign of wealth in the country at the expenses of the majority who are living in the country. And that is why we in South Sudan fought the Arabs. We were complaining, we were marginalized in terms of Sulta, the Khartoum. Junubin bas wajibu wazir amal, lijibu Aldo Ajo, walajibu Uncle Angelo Beda, يكون وزير الشؤون الثروة الحيوانية وكده, you know. لكن وزارة السيادية في السودان هنا ذاك ما بدل للجنوبين. ما بدي اشوف وزير خارجيه يدل الجنوبي. اول مره وزير خارجيه كان دكتور لام بعد اتفاق السلام. So this will happen. We complain against that. We also complain about the economical exploitation. يعني النميري وكيدلقى بترول في الجنوب ما دام يبني مصفى في بنتيو هو ده يجيب مصفى لكوستي. ده يبني مصفى لكوستي, which means depriving South Sudanese from the economical asset. Okay? Junubin itmaradu less than 83. Shabab itmaradu is part of it. Petrol was discovered for Bantiu and what numerically you do petrol there Shamal to make refineries. That means creating jobs in the north. While South Sudan continue producing the oil. So they're milking us. You know, they're milking us and drinking the milk. Whatever. So if the same sentiments that led South Sudanese to rebel in 1983, now in Juba, the same sentiment mojud.
1 minute. Yeah.
1 minute. We have new Arab Ahl al-Quraysh mojudin for Juba. Okay, Ghana live with Lebanon. Busur with Lebanon Baram. Junubin and they're not drinking that milk. So you want that to continue? Of course not. If it was wrong in 1983 that you rebel against exploitation, you rebel against economical exploitation, you rebel because you're not represented in power. Now the same thing in South Sudan is happening. So unless you correct these ills, there will be no way forward. And the only way to correct it is for us to have federalism. It's not ethnic federalism. Any South Sudanese can move anywhere in any state as long as you abide by the laws of those states, like the United States. Nothing prevents me as a Shuluk to go and live in Zandiland. As long as I respect the laws, I pay my tax, I have the right to reside in that Zandiland. So my brothers and sisters, we are advocating for a true federalism based on devolution of powers and wealth. But we are not advocating for ethnic federalism.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Junub is demanding. I'm a minister here. I'm demanding federalism. So why people are saying federalism is for Equatoria? So this is my conclusion, Edward, that federalism is the way out. Decentralization will create dictatorship, will create tribal hegemony, and we're not ready for that in South Sudan. Thank you.
Thank you. It is Ahmed Sota Jamana. Yeah, let's go to Maulana Mayen. Yeah, take your time.
I take from where Maulana Ajawin stopped. The federalism that South Sudan is heading towards is territorial in nature. It's territorial federalism, and not ethnic federalism like in Ethiopia. Because in Ethiopia there are big tribes. Oromo are almost 35 million. 3 times the size of the 60-something tribes in South Sudan. The Amhara are also 20-something million. The Tigray are 20-something. So those are real nations. In South Sudan, we have few nations, and not every tribe is a nation, because there are smaller tribes that come together. There are smaller tribes, Kaidi في Western Barghazal state, they are united by territory, even though there are 22 tribes, linguistic groups. This is territorial federalism. So we should not fear any ethnic sentiments that will arise from such kind of federalism. But let us look also into history. Let me put that into 2 historical contexts. The first historical context was the Addis Ababa regional government and the decentralized system. This is, we have had, our people have experimented with autonomy, because federalism is nothing but a certain, it is autonomy, but a deeper autonomy than just a decentralized system. So we experimented with the regional government before, the decentralized system of government, and it was not so expensive. That is why most of the resources were directed towards infrastructure. So most of the infrastructure now we have in South Sudan were built during 11 years of Addis Ababa agreement. And we have now 15 years, and we have not created even 10% of what our fathers accomplished within 11 years. Because the decentralized government was a small government, and all the resources were now towards infrastructure development. That is why, even though federalism is an ideal system for governing deeply divided societies, and resolving tensions between regions and tribes in South Sudan, we think that this condition we have become deeply divided. We have now developed serious tension among tribes in South Sudan. That is why people are saying federalism is ideal because of that. And you cannot dispute that, because you know, and the second experiment is what we inherited from Khartoum. From 2005 to 2010, we inherited 10 states until 2013. That was, to me and to so many people, and according to the constitution, was a quasi-federal system. Not fully fledged federal system, but it was closer to federalism than to a decentralized government. Richard K. Muller calls it is federal, yes, federal enough. That is according to him, the Minister of Federal Affairs, not federal enough. Why are we saying that it was not federal enough? And why did the federal experiment not achieve the development and the peace among South Sudanese in the same way that the decentralized system achieved in those 11 years of Addis Ababa agreement? First of all, the constitution itself, even though Article 161 of the Transitional Constitution 2011, that talks about that South Sudan is governed on the basis of decentralization. But most of the structures, most of the elements are federal. If looking at the central government, state government, county government, you have executive at the state level, you have legislatures at the state level, at the county level. All these are only found in federal systems. They are not found in decentralized systems. That is why there is an agreement among almost people in South Sudan that we were federal. That is why we need to perfect this federalism that we inherited from Khartoum. Khartoum had 25 states, and we inherited 10 from the 25 states. Why did we fail? We failed because the elements of federalism that are in the constitution, because some people say that the difference between federalism and local government, decentralized government, is that the powers in federalism are constitutional powers. Well, what we have now are in the constitution itself. The powers of the state are written in the constitution, and I will, within my time limit, I will just go through a few of them in the constitution.
Okay.
But the failure, why was it not fully federal? Looking at the Council of States, for example, it was not an elected body. In all federal settings, the Council of States, in other states, they are called senates. They are always elected by the people. But in our case, those who are going to represent the states, those who are going to solve, to enact laws on behalf of the state, those who are going to interfere to resolve conflict at the state level, border conflict and the rest, are not elected by the people themselves. The members of the Council of States since 2005 to date are appointed by the president and by parties. This is one of the defects in the federal experiments that we have had in South Sudan from that time to date. There are other things like interference from the central government, because the central government has powers, and the role of the executive at the central government level, and there is a role of the executive at the state level. They are national powers, they are state powers, they are all also concurrent powers. They are all in the Constitution. Looking at Schedule A in the Constitution, these are the powers that were given to the national government. Some of them are Constitution, national defense, foreign affairs, currency, money, and you see postal services, river transportation, navigation, and there are let me see how many. There are 58 powers, 58 powers in Schedule A that are given to the central government. And when we go to Schedule B, powers of the state, there are 42 powers for the state government. Adoption of their own constitution, state police, prisons. You have state information, social welfare, civil service at the state level, land, cultural matters, local works, registration of marriage, enforcement of national and state laws, preschool, primary and secondary education, agriculture within the state. You have so many others, town and rural planning, state archives, state budget, vehicle licensing, recreation, flag, emblem, and customary laws. You know, all these 42 competencies of the state were not actually respected. It's not that they were not in the constitution. They are constitutional powers, but the central government did not respect these constitutional powers. Even if we come with a federal system now, we are not going to change much in the constitution itself, because these federal powers are already enshrined in the constitution, including taxation and borrowing from national from foreign governments. The state were able to borrow, but within the framework of the macroeconomic policies of the country itself. So you could borrow from other countries, but within limits. So these states were almost federal states, but they were not respected. I remember someone like Bangasi Bakasoro once made an agreement with Japan to create roads, like 10 kilometers of roads, and he put a plan to pay back that money through road tolls. So he was operating within the constitution itself. The powers in the constitution are federal powers. They are concurrent powers. These concurrent powers relate to almost to the same things: vaccination, animal, welfare. Because if you have cows that are sick, and they move to other states, they may affect certain things that are concurrent, where the central government could intervene. So the federal experiment in South Sudan from 2005 to 2013, it was a federal experiment. Now, what I was saying is that the states were not able to raise their own money, because in federalism, the state should raise its own money through local taxation. Then the central government comes in to fill up the gaps through what Molana mentioned, equalization fund. Even though from 2005 to 2013 or to date, we have had block grants rather than equalization fund. The block grants given to 10 states equally, and equalization funds are based on equity, where when a state is a little bit down, you give them more money than the others. But block grants are equal, even though you give the same the same amount to a state that produces oil, to a state that has oil.
Molana.
Yes.
Yeah, you remain with 10 seconds.
Okay. So I was saying our states are not able to raise funds, and these other factors,
thank you so much. Your time is over.
Okay.
12 minutes, yeah. Let's take the other round. Let's give to Dhol Larjin.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Edward.
Can I suggest something, please?
Sorry?
I just want to suggest something to the host. Please try to let people know maybe they have 3 minutes left so that they can wrap up. Because when you say 10 seconds, then the 10 seconds is over.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, oh no, you're fine, yeah. So quickly, I'm going to the question, why federalism matter, even though I actually not a huge supporter of this federalism you are raising. I don't really support it for our country because I look at it as a totally a system that is a destruction in our country, if at all it is introduced. Simply because, you know, the need for it right now is not because we are expanding services or expanding power. It is because tribes are being humiliated everywhere across the country. That's why people are coming up with it. But let me tell you one thing. You know, most of this country, most of you cited, they have a long way go to maybe powerful country like the United States. They never jump to federalism. Okay, federalism in any social school, you have to have a kind of systematic way of arriving to it. First of all, you have, if you want to establish a government in a country, you have to have a centralized system that unite the people, that bring the common values to the country. Then when people feel they have a sense of yes.
Yeah, I want you to continue. In order for you to continue, just I need a correction from you. What do you mean by United States and they did not jump to the federalism? While the first country introduced the federalism to officially put it in the constitution, it was United States in 1778. So what do you mean? The first country in the world introduced the federalism in the constitution, it was United States of America. So please continue. Yes, correction.
Okay. Well, yeah. You know, that's not true. You know, I went to school for politics in the United States, and I study American politics, comparative politics, international politics. So U.S. did not start away with federalism. They actually began with centralized government, and then went eventually to decentralized. And when they reach to decentralize, they were arriving to federal. Okay, there is one thing here, you know, I wanted to talk about the importance of federalism. If you guys actually, you maybe misunderstanding here, okay? You know, federalism, sometimes there are two things very important that you need to consider if we have to introduce it in our country. One, federalism actually is only working in a country where the government administration is integrated. If there is no integration of the country or government, then federalism will not work. That is one. Second, federalism only working with the people with a kind of educational level, somewhere maybe at least a half in a nation. So if these two things are missing in a nation, federalism then become a tribalized system where everybody is needing federalism because they are being marginalized. Maybe they have a problem. But one thing I want to tell you, you know what? Federalism cannot be introduced because of a problem in a country. A problem can be solved. As I told you earlier, our country has a tribalism problem that need to be solved. But there are no people with capacity to solve the problem. So what we need is just to solve the problem of tribalism and then use our centralized government. The centralized government right now is very great for our country. One, because our country, the way our state are established, they are established according to tribe. For instance, you go to Awil. I don't know, Molana Mayan coming maybe from Gogrial or is coming from Awil. Right now, in the state of Warab, Gogrial is a tribe. So the state actually is a tribe, established as a tribe, which is not in any country. You go to Awil, Northern Barkatal, they call themselves, they are the state, but it's a tribe. These are Denga Malwal. So how will you have a country organized in tribal line? It is impossible. Then those who are calling right now is like they are calling for more tribal bloodshed. And that is not good reasoning for people who need a country. What we simply need is that this tribalism that were introduced by Egyptian and British during the condominium rule in 1899, it was transferred to be a Kokra, okay, in 1982. And then it just now become a culture to us. We are learning it. This is what we need to sit down and actually look at it and solve it. And I have suggested some solution. First, we need actually to integrate that kind of government. The central government now simply just need to be integrated. When we integrate it, you will see central government, the central system of governance will actually be the best to suit our country. Because when we take, for instance, the governor of Rial, we take Ajawin, Emmnuel Ajawin. He's from Shulu. If we make him a government of Rial from Denka, the feeling of kind of tribal line will finish, and you are solving the problem. You take Mayen, for instance, our sister Tereza, put him as a governor of Apanal. So it's not going to have people who will, that is the integration that we need right now. We should be talking as intellectuals who are solving the problem. But if we talk of things that are not working practically, then you are calling for more and more problems. So central government, central system of government is a unity. You know, it unites people when the country is integrated. We have one resources. People don't feel like the oil in Apanal is for Shulu. You see, like if we introduce the central government right now, the Malakal will have problem. The Denka will say we own the oil. The Nuer will say we own the oil. Every tribe, they will say we own the oil. And that is really the very big problem in a country. So we hold on. A kind of sorry, I have a kind of interruption here, and simply, you know, because we have a limited time, you know, I believe federalism right now is not a good thing for our country right now as we are talking, because we are lacking two things, two main values for federalism. One is our country is not integrated as a country; it is divided on tribal line. And that makes it impossible for federalism to work. If we impose it, every tribe will have a conflict everywhere. And that will increase even more fragment in our country. And secondly, the level of understanding, level of education is very low. So people actually, they don't know values that are actually unite us. Things like language. And then some of you, even I was surprised, they are talking about, oh, we don't have any values. We have values, okay? First of all, the language, we are Nilotic. Our language is one, but it was just destroyed by the British and Egyptian somewhere in 18. This is something that we can catch up. If you look at Nilotic languages, the Shuluk, even Luo, I was surprised, the Luo of Kenya and the Acholi of Uganda, Acholi of South Sudan, they speak together some of the word with the Nuer and the Dinka. So that means we are really one. We have a culture that has just lost from the way. These are the things that can unite us if we look at them.
Dhol Larjin, it looks like you are contradicting yourself, because in the first question, you point out we are not one nation, we are not one people. And now here, what you are saying now is kind of, I don't know, did you really put your point?
Yeah, you are right. You know, the reason I'm saying this is because, you know, we are not one nation right now. But we used to be before 1899.
That is not true. That is not true.
We used to be one.
No.
If I'm not true, the reason I'm saying this is because, you know, I researched about the languages and I found out some of the tribes, even from Equatoria, small tribes like Aisholi and Shuluk and Nuer and Denka share one language. They share a lot of words. It made me feel that there was some time that people were one. So this culture has just lost from somewhere, that it was just destroyed. And in my sense, I believe the destruction came from condominium rule. That is the British and the Egyptian, when they were actually competing for resources in South Sudan. That is where we have tribalism. And they identify tribe. But otherwise, if they did not identify the tribe,
yeah, you have 1 minute. You have 1 minute, but I want you to answer in 1 minute. First of all, what I need from you, as you said, like you study in US and this thing. So I want you to bring the references for your references. The document is telling us we were one before as a people of South Sudan. This one. The second things, also you said like you studied the history of US and the federalism did not implement it in 1778. Also, I have document. If you study, really, like you said, and you make research, I was being researched all yesterday and this week about the federalism. Go back. There is a book in US here. They call it the Federalist Papers. It looks like you did not go through it, because if you pass through that, you will know when the federalism start implemented US. So can you tell me where is your references? And I have the book here. I can bring it here. So all of us, because we don't talk just kind of verbal talking argument, which is actually is not scientific. Just you have 1 minute.
Yeah, quickly, if at all you're looking for references, well, I did. This is a constitution of the US. One thing I wanted to make you aware is this. I did study in the US. I study political science at Iowa State University, one of the prominent state university in the US, and one of the universities that.
Thank you.
The politics.
12 minutes is finished. Thank you. You will come.
Okay. Then I have to come back.
Yeah.
To explain this.
Yeah. Let's give chance to Sister Tereza.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Brother Dhol Larjin. Oh, he's out. I hope he will be back.
Yeah, he will be back.
Yeah. So we have now 10 minutes. Yeah. This time.
Yeah. No, 12 minutes. Yeah. You have 12 minutes.
Okay. First of all, I just want to make some correction. Within the context.
Yeah, continue. Yes.
Maulana Mayen Dengdit mentioned a lot of that we are already in South Sudan. Everything that we have, the setting of the system that we have is already like halfway federalism. It's not true, because if you go back to the constitution, our constitution, it says South Sudan is governed on the basis of decentralization democratic system. It is an embracing homeland for its people. So I don't just want to read everything. This is if you go to part 1, South Sudan and the constitution. So everything, there's nothing about federal system that been practiced in South Sudan, or rather even in the former Sudan. This correction I want to make. Brother Dhol Larjin made another claim that the people of Awil, they are only one people living, like one tribe, the Dinka of Awil. It's not true. We have also the Luo, or let's say what we call them, Jurchat, or if we say Jurchol, and so on. The correction that I want to make. If he's talking about the people who speak, let's say we call them the Luo group, they are the Shuluk and the Choli, and they are the Luo and the Anyua and the Piri. Those are the group who speak the Luo. This is a correction that I want to make to Dhol Larjin. And another correction, he said that if we want to bring the federal system to South Sudan as if we are bringing fire or problem, this is not true. The federal system, normally people will bring the federal system to solve the problem that we already have. And we are having a problem that South Sudan is on the fire. South Sudan is not stable. So we want to bring something to stabilize the people of South Sudan and to stabilize even the resources of the South Sudan. And he said something that in US that the federal, they started with the central system. This is not true, because the US started in 1778. And they started with 13 states before they go to the 51 state of federal system. So I totally disagree with my brother Dhol Larjin. I hope he's here listening. So let's come why the federal system matters to us. ليه federal system ده مهم لنا في حياتنا عشان ينظم حياة بتاعنا. I gave an example yesterday. Today, if you want to govern yourself, it's like a car. You need a car. That car needs its paper. You need a driving license. You need a fuel to this car in order for you to drive. The car itself is the country. Let's put it like that to simplify للناس الممكن يفهموا بصورة مبسطة. يعني العربية ذاته خدوا ده الدولة. الأوراق بتاع العربية ده هو الدستور. الدرايفنج لايسنس ده ده هو القايد لاين بتاعك انت جاي تحكم بول البلد. يعني البروجرام بتاعك، استراتيجيه بتاعك اللي تقدر تحكم بول البلد. الفيول البنزين ده هو شعب، لانه فيول لو ما في، لانه الشعب بيشتغل عشان يكون منتج كيف؟ عشان يقدر يحرك البلد. والمفتاح ده هو القوه بتاعك انت، الافكار بتاعك انت كقائد بتقود البلد. ده ببساطه نقدر نقول كده. انت المفتاح لما تخطه في العربيه بعد كده بتدور، لانه بقى فيه اشياء مكتمله. عشان كده احنا دايرين نقول شنو؟ we want a federal system to solve this problem because it's matter for our life. To have a federal system, that means you will have first a constitution, a permanent constitution that the people of South Sudan will all come with a different aspect. كان هم قساوسة، كان هم مزارين، كان هم شنو؟ مسلمين، مسيحيين، يهود وما أدراك، بيقعدوا تحت هم بيشاركوا في وضع الدستور ده ويصوتوا عليه في استفتاء. بعد ده هيكون ده دستور ثابت للبلد. الدستور بيعلو فوق كل شخص، وبكون في دساتير ولاية، لأنه في النظام الفدرالي ما بيدي فرصة للرئيس إنه شنو يعني يقوم يعمل شنو يعني يعفي الولاء. بيدي السيطرة التام، إنه الرئيس ما بيقدر يتصرف بتصرفه اللي هو دايره. زي ما كير هسه قاعد يعمل، بيجي مع الديكري بتاعه اني تايم، ديكري بتاع بقر، ديكري بتاع شنو يعني. في تخبط دستور بتاع جنوب السودان بيقول انه او السيستم ديسنتراليزيشن، ما في حاجه هناك هسه. كير او هسه يا بقى سيستم، كير او بقى دستور، كير او اي حاجه. احنا بنقول النظام الفدرالي احنا دايرينه لانه هو اولا بيقسم السلطات في الدوله، السلطات الثلاثه: التشريعيه والتنفيذيه التشريعيه والقضائيه والتنفيذيه. لانه بيجي بتدرج التشريع عالي لانه ده الدستور. الرئيس بيستمد قوته من دستور، السلطه القضائيه بيستمد قوته من دستور. لما نحن نتكلم كده هيكون عندنا دستور قومي بلم الفدراليات، وفي الدساتير بتاع الولايات ده هيكون عندنا ممثلين بتاعهم من الولايات، هم بيكون بيصوت عليهم الشعب، هم بيمثلوا الشعب. الرئيس او البرلمان هنا ما عنده حق انه يتدخل يعمل اي حاجه تغيير في اي دستور فوق هناك او تحت، لانه هنا ده بيكون في توزيع بتاع السلطه او السلطه السياسيه اللي هو ذاته الولايات، يعني عندك برلمانات وما ادراك، والسلطه الاقتصاديه اللي انك انه شنو بتشارك الموارد بتاعك مع المركز. لانه انت في فدراليات الاخرى انت لازم تساعده. زي ما حصل، انا اديت مثال بتاع انه المانيا كولايه فقيره كان عندهم صندوق اللي هم بيلموا فيه قروش من الولايات الاخرى عشان يساعدوا بها المانيا. انت لما يساعدوا بها برلين الليله انت لما تشوفوا زي كانوا اغنى ولايه، لكن هي ما اغنى ولايه، ده بمساهمه من بقيه الولايات، بيجيبوا الايرادات من بقيه الولايات من الموارد بتاعهم يساعدوا بها الولايه اللي هو ولايه برلين. ده كمثال انا داير ندي كده. النظام الفدرالي بيساعدنا في موضوع بتاع الجيش القومي والبوليس. طبعا الجيش بيكون ده جيش قومي كله، لكن برضو عندك بيكون فرق ولائيه، والبوليس بيكون عندك بوليس ولائي. بوليس الولايه لانه بيعرف طبيعه بتاع الناس، بيعرف ذاته حراميه بتاع ولايه بتاعه، بيعرف ذاته تقاليد بتاع ولايه بتاعه. ده عشان كده النظام الفدرالي مهم جدا. النظام الفدرالي بيساعد انه ذات احنا our norms our flag love for this country. لما يكون عندنا دستور قومي بمعنى في عداله اجتماعيه بين الشعب، فهيكون في تساوي، ما هيكون في تخبط، ما هيكون في تدخل من الرئيس دايركتلي طوالي يجي طوالي ليش شنو للولايات الاخرى، لانه في دساتير هنا بيحكم الناس، في قوانين بينظم الناس. فانا داير نقول شنو، انا ما اعرف فاضل لي كم ان شاء الله، بس ما جريت
لسه زمنك لسه واصل.
فانا بس داير نقول
باقي لك 3 دقائق يا واصل.
ايوه فيري جود. السلطه هنا المهم في ذلك اللي هو السلطات الثلاثه في الدوله، التنفيذيه والتشريعيه والقضائيه، ده لازم يكون مستغله تماما، ما يكون في تدخل. يعني هسه زي انت بتشوف هسه في الوقت بتاعنا الحالي، انت بتلقى انه مدام السلطه التشريعيه هو السلطه العليا، انت بتلقى انه كير بقى هو من هو يا كان السلطه التنفيذيه هو بقى جاي انه كانه يا بقى السلطه العالى. وده هنا الخطر القاعد يحدد بلد بتاعنا حقيقه. كون ما انه السلطات كله السلطه التنفيذيه والسلطه القضائيه والتشريعيه بقى في يد بتاع يدين واحد. اما في النظام الفدرالي بيمنع الكلام ده تماما. لما نجي حتى في تنافس في الموارد، انت بتلقى انه النظام الفدرالي بدينا فرصه احنا في كل الولايات احنا نتنافس اقتصاديا، حتى تعليميا بيكون في تنافس، حتى ثقافيا بيكون في تنافس. يعني هسه مثلا خلينا نجي اقتصاديا، الولايات اللي بيكون منتجه زراعيه، يعني هسه زي مشكله مثلا عندك في الاستوائيه الكبرى، دي مناطق معروفه بتاع زراعه، بمعنى انت بتدي لولايات اللي انه شنو ما بيكون منتجه، زي عندك وسن بار غزال، دي ناس مزارعين وعندهم يعني فواكه كثيره، معناه انت بتساعد انه بيكون في تنافس اقتصادي برا من انه في تنافس اجتماعي ثقافي، لكن حيكون في تنافس الاقتصادي. ده بيساعدنا في شنو؟ في حاجه اسمه شنو؟ الامن الغذائي. ده حاجه مهم جدا، لانه ليه احنا درنا نعالج مشكله بتاع انه جنوب السودان يا اخو ادوار 70% او 80% من الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان بيعتمد على الUN في الغذاء. ليه احنا why should we be burden to the international community? We become part of the international community. احنا بقينا جزء من United Nations. ليه احنا نكون بدن واحنا المفروض نكون جزء من هذا المجتمع، نساعد هذا المجتمع الدولي عن طريق توريد او تصدير المنتجات بتاعنا. عندك الاناناس، عندك القطن بتاع انزارا، وعندك الرز بتاع ويل، وعندك كله احنا نحيي هذه الشركات، وكله فوق ذلك ده بيساعدنا احنا يا اخوي ادوار، بيخلينا في النظام الفدرالي، بيخلينا احنا نحارب مشاكل القبليه الحاصل. لانه انت في النظام الفدرالي الانسان هو السنتر، هو المنتج، زي ما قبل انا ذكرت خطيته كبنزين، هو المنتج الممكن شنو بدل احنا نخليهم هم يشاكلوا يعملوا حاجات، انت تخليهم يكونوا مزارعين، انت تخليهم يكونوا منتجين، يصنعوا الشوارع، يبنوا المدارس، تخليهم منشغل. ده بيزحر نزعه بتاع حب للوطن، ده بيزرع نزعه لحب للوطنيه. انت بتلقى انه voluntary people will join to be police, people will join to be military men, people will join to be wildlife عشان هم يحموا هذا البلد. فانا داير نقول يا جماعه في ناس مثلا دايرين يساووا بين كوكورا والنظام الفدرالي. خلينا نرجع كلام اللي قاله القس سنترلينو هوري في سنه 1965 في داخل برلمان او مجلس الشعب السوداني، وقال الشعب الجنوبي هسه يا حكومه في الشمال هم بيطالبوا بحاجه بسيط اسمه فدرال سيستم، لكن يوم انتوا هم قاعدين يطالبوا بحاجه بسيط اسمه فدرال سيستم، لكن يوم لو هم طالبوا بالانفصال ما في زول هيوقف الشعب الجنوبي ده. This is the point that I want to make and thank you.
Thank you so much. دقائق بتاعك انت بالضبط كده. انا قبل ما ادي ظاهر مولانا ايمانويل عمل دروب، بعدين انا بدي برضه ميان عشان يعلق سيبريتلي للكلام بتاع دول لارجين. لكن انا في حاجه داير اقوله للمشاهدين الناس اللي قاعده تشاهدوا اللايف فيديو، والشيء المؤسف جدا انا داير برضه متحدثين بعدين برضه بعد تعليق بتاع كايدي في question number 2. I will give some minutes so because في مثقفين زي ناس مكير and I don't want to mention a specific tribe because الكومن الماشي تاعت زي التعليق اللي قالوا ميان الاسبوع الفات، لكن it will be very unfortunate انه ناس متعلمين وخريجين بتاع الجامعات زي ناس مكير وزول برضه بقول قرأ آداب هو قاعد تحت هنا بيكتبوا بقول انه فدرالية ده كوكرا، يعني ريلي حاجه مؤسف جدا. يعني انا داير بعدين الناس تعلق حاجه مؤسف. اذا انت
نفسيه يا اخوي ادوار،
الناس المتعلمين في الجنوب وبهذا الشكل الفهم المتخلف جدا بيفهم انه فدراليه يعني قال ده كوكرا في جنوب السودان. ده يعني انا بمناسبه وده شكل النقاط اللي احنا برضه محتاجين ناس تعلق عليه، لانه لما يكون ده المتعلمين ذاتهم ياو بدوا الافكار ده، يعني نقاش بنناقش لنا 3 يوم في الاسس العلميه والتطبيق بتاع الفدراليه وطبقوه في الدول. يا اخي اذا كان السلاطين في مؤتمر جوبا، انا بعدين بار ميان وكيادي وتريزا وايمانو لما نجي تعلقوا فوق في مؤتمر 47 جنوبيين the requirement بتاعهم الريكوست كان سنترالين وهورو انه نحن دايرين نحكم نفذنا بنظام فدرالي، وضربوا به مثل بسيط جدا. انا كنت قاعد اقول وانا في الجامعه انه ضربوا مثل بسيط جدا، يعني سنترالين هوري السلطان اللي عمل له ليك، السلطان اللي عمل له ليك ضرب مثل بسيط، قال يا اخي هنا يعني ضرب بيت ولد، ده مثل بتاعه بيت ولد. يا اخي قال انا البيت ولد عندنا كجنوبيين، قال انت لما تجيبوا تزوجهم ما بتقوم تلموا، بديهم فرصه يتعرفوا على بعضهم، وبعد ذلك لقدام we can go to the next step. So كان يعني المثال انه جنوب السودان خلينا ناكل نفذنا بنظام فدرالي مع السودان، ومشينا مع ال 55 ورفعوا ماشين لاستغلال السودانيين، حتى الناس الترابي طلعوا في مظاهرات no federation in one nation, the federation is separation. Why now South Sudanese ان احنا زادنا رفعنا الشعار والمشايخ والسلاطين اللي ما مشوا مدارس وما مشوا جامعات رفعوا سلوغان بتاع انه فدريشن ده الشعار المناسب لحكم بعضنا هنا في جنوب السودان. ليه الليله مثقفين في جنوب السودان بالذات ابناء بتاع النظام والمستفيدين من النظام القبلي الموجود في جنوب السودان بيرفعوا شعار انه فدريشن is separation. This thing لانه this thing we need to answer المتحدثين بعدين بديكم فرصه because ده المسوي بتاع التفكير بتاع الناس بتاعنا في جنوب السودان. Let's go to sister ايادي تفضل.
شكرا برادر إدوار. actually I think ذاته كلام بتاع الفدرالية ده خلص خلاص، ما في حاجة تانية أكتر من كده بقوله. لكن I'm gonna try my best to add on top of زملائي الكلام اللي هم قالوا. طبعا أنا في الشو الفترة ذكرت بعض من المشاكل اللي بتواجه الناس في الولايات اللي خلى الناس بيشوفوا إنه أحسن لنا حكم فدرالي. So this is very normal. أساس إنه في العالم كله السيستم الدولة بيحكي نفسه ده بكون هم فضلوا السيستم ده عشان في مشكلة في حتة. Let us take example بتاع أمريكا وكندا. ليه كندا is a parliamentary system وليه أمريكا is a presidential system? Because كندا هم عايزين ما دارين يقطعوا ارتباطهم بالمملكة المتحدة. بعد أمريكا ما دار أي علاقة مع United Kingdom. So they decided to have that presidential system so that they become independent. So because up to now Canada pays taxes, we pay taxes to the Queen. And sometimes the Canadians will say, why do we have to pay them taxes? But America didn't want that. So that's why as South Sudanese also, we see it, what is happening to us. And then we decide that, okay, I think the system that we're being ruled with is not helping, and we need to change it. Mayen, انت اتكلمت عن example بتاع انه زي ما تريزا قالت انت قلت already that system بتاع فدرالية is quasi federal system. However, I don't know when you say quasi, it's just we have 10 states and then nothing else. We cannot say even quasi, it's not even a quarter of a federal system. The system that we are ruled by in South Sudan is central. If you look at the state, if you look at the organized forces, if we have like Matafi, police, like in Western Barkazal, Mafi, like it's the الغادة بتاعهم كله ما من Western Barkazal. How do you call that federalism? البوليس الموجودين عندنا برضو بوليس ما من Western Barkazal. How do we call that federalism? Yeah, it's not federalism. It's something else, and it's meant it's a strategic thing for the whole of Greater Barkazal because of the idea of controlling. Because the Western Barkazal is the only state that is not a Dinka state in Greater Barkazal, but they want to control the whole of Barkazal, so they're doing that. So I'm not going to call that it's a federal system. You talked about Governor Bakasoro and his project Bita Shawari, Ma Hakuma Bita Japan, but you stopped short of telling us where did it end? Yeah, because Anna, I have an experience. We have Ferdinando Goy, min أبناء بتاعت Western Barkazal من الناس المحاربوا في عنيوان. I was one of the committee members المفروض نعمل تكريم بتاعت Ferdinando Goy في Western Barkazal. But why didn't it happen? Yeah, at least in Eastern Equatoria they did for Saturnino Ohura, I believe so, even because we were in contact with the same person who did the sculpture to do it for us. But they didn't let us do it because they say, oh, if we let them do it, they're going to claim that Barkazal Bitam. Yeah, these are the things that we're suffering from. Dhol is talking about fighting tribalism. Tribalism, but we are fighting. We are almost getting finished. We don't want to go again and fight. We just want watabitana or nasra full bitahti, and that's it. I don't want anything to do with the petroleum. I don't want the gold. I don't want anything. I just want my land. And then that's it. People are tired, and the biggest toll is falling on specific group. It's not falling on everybody in the country. So we as the specific group, while the government is doing it to us, and some people are saying, no, we have to be central and we are dying and we're finishing. If you don't feel me, if you don't feel my pain, if you don't feel that, this is where we're saying we are not one people, because when I die, it doesn't bother you at all. That's why we are not one people, and we cannot be like one nation. It doesn't bother anybody because it's not me. As long as these are the other tribes that are dying, it's not a big deal. Yeah. So this is what we are facing in South Sudan. I want to talk about. You're talking about the state was supposed to raise money, and the central government is going to top up that money, but the state failed. You're putting the blame on the states because you were in Juba, and that's what you were told. But I was working in the government, the Minister of Local Government in Wow, and the Sugjo Barao, the amount of money that Sugjo raises, like you cannot believe it. It's not because we didn't have the money, but there's no political will to do anything. I know that the commissioner took the money to build his house. He gives the governor gives the minister in Juba, and it's dead. So we don't want that. We don't want that. We want a system whereby we can hold our governor responsible, hold our commissioner responsible for eating the money. Because if the Juba is benefiting, Juba is silent about whatever is going on in the states. I want to talk about the issue of resources, because we are. These are some of what we said that the disadvantages of federal system. Yes, not all the states will have equal economic power, and of course, so many things will be affected. Yeah, even if I have my groundnuts and somebody doesn't have anything, we are not going to be at the same level. Why? Because I just want to give an example. You know, the state of New York, whatever state of New York spends on one student, the Utah cannot do that. That means that whatever educational program that is accessible to the student in New York is not going to be accessible to that student in Utah because the state cannot do that. However, I want to go back to the statement that the two statements that Edward Adana, that there's no general theory of federalism. This is where, if we want to decide that we are going to go for the federal system, this is where we have to talk about, okay, some states will fall behind. So how are we going to do that? Education-wise, health-wise, because there are no hospitals in South Sudan. Nobody's building hospitals. And that's why I said last time, even if we want to implement the federalism, we have to make sure that there's a good health care system everywhere in South Sudan, so that, or if it's not there, then the health system can remain centralized until each federal state is independent and can manage its the health services for its citizens. Because sometimes, and in Wow, we're facing, everybody's hearing about what's happening in the hospital of Wow. Everybody comes there. But you have somebody who's sick in Rumbek. Amaltalo kujura, amaltalo shunu manager. When it's almost half dead, ita bishilu, tejirbu Wow. Now when the doctor touches that person, it is too late and that person dies. And my own cousin who was killed, anesthesiologist, and they're rare. They're sitting and azol mad, you know. And somebody just decided to come and shoot people. It's happening even recently. It happened, and well, they blame the people. They don't say that Dhol Larjin barada no, no, nas de kida, nas de la molo, kotolo zol de bedur, nas de khotto sima. Lama nurses in our hospital al bunum billel fi mustashfa, they don't wear uniform anymore. Because when he comes, when Dhol de Dhol jai, ita shufta shiklu, SPLM, ita btunum fi serir jamayan, ita ayan. Ubasa nurses when everybody says we don't know. Like we don't want that. Like we cannot live with that. So when you come, you can come and access it. If I have a federal system, I'll put my laws, and you want to access my law, this gun of yours, you keep it outside. You keep it outside of the hospital. I will not allow you to, and you have to come here to respect my law so that you access the health system. Until when you're fully independent to do yours, that will be okay. I want to just mention one thing. When I use examples, like I said, I'll use example. I don't want to bring example from 100 years. It's not because I don't like history. I learn from it, but when I bring an example, a life example, it's better. It's very relevant to many of us, or some of the younger people who don't know that history, or cannot relate to it. I want something that people can relate to it, and then okay, yeah, it makes sense. 2 minutes, okay. I just want, because when we okay, when Edward just talked about the chiefs Salatin Bitana Fisabordain and compare them to the Salatin Bitana, the Jain Council of Elders, I don't know, maybe the Salatin Bitana that are now in Juba, and everybody saying they're people with experience. We don't deny that. Yes, they are educated with all those experience to help Kir govern. But what they're doing is horrible. It's worse than what our chiefs did, because sometimes we give excuse. We say, oh, Salatinda was shown kanu ma mutalimin. Okay, I think what they nasal ma mutalimin al haja luma namulena lena is better than what these people who are educated are doing to us at this point. So maybe if Mayen is responding, he can elaborate on this, whatever happened in Western Equatoria about the roads, because I know Juba will put his hands and can easily just stop that project from happening. And like the examples I gave it to you. So I don't have much. That's basically all.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Kaidi. أنا أقدر أقول للمشاهدين وبرضه متحدثين إنه الفورم أنا أقوم أخليه ب4 نفر، لأنه I realize إنه this system لما يكونوا 4 ولا 5 نفر it will go low and very weak. So تريزا نزلت تحت، دان باشوي أنا بقوم برفع فوق لما يكون دور لها هي تتكلم وأنا بنزل القيادة عشان هي تخش. لكن خليني let me direct this عشان أنا داير زي ما قال قيادي نحن كلمنا في الفدرالية بما فيه كفاية، لكن يسلوك لأنه نحن يعني في جنوبين إنهم مشكلة بتاع they have short memory to just recover الهيستوري بتاع السودان. وانا دايركم كلكم المتحدثين سيستم مولانا تريزا قاعده تهدينا انه ومولانا ايمانويل رجا ومولانا ميان، واحده من المشاكل بتاعتنا في السودان، لان انا لاحظت انه يعني الحرب في جنوب السودان اثر على عدد كبير من الشباب، والمشاكل الموجود والجوع طبعا زي ما بيقولوا الجوع كافر خلى الناس تكون قبليين وخلاهم ما يركزوا ذاته في الاسس العلميه. انا شغل الكتابات انا قاعد اقراها لدي هنا من المثقفين والله تتعدم وتقول سوري، يعني if they are intellectual ده الناس اللي مشوا مدارس والله خير ناس سلاطين لانه لو ليقوا دول يرجعوا في الجنوب عشان they can take over. but هنا let us take argument in this direction. ما جماعه جنوب التاريخ بتاع السودان ومولانا ايمانويل الميان correct me please، history بتاع السودان من الاستغلال بتاع السودان من 56 او من 55 ليوم الليله السودان حكم بنظام مركزي. السودان لم يحكم بنظام فدرالي للناس بيتكلموا، والفدراليه الناس اللي بدأوا تintroduce حاجه كده وهمي اسمه لا مركزي وفدرالي، ده النظام بتاع دينغاس. لكن من حكم بتاع السودان كان محكوم بنظام مركزي، وده واحده من المشاكل الليله انا داير الجنوبيين الناس اللي ما عارفين ينتبهوا لده. واحده من المشاكل اللي خلت انه السودان الليله ده يكون في ازمه مستمره ليومنا هذا وما قادرين يحسموا مشكله بتاع الحكم، لانه السيطره كان في المركز. المشكله بتاعت سيطره كل الموارد في السودان كانت في مركز، عشان كده تحولت الخرطوم لسنتر بتاعت كل اداره السياسات، صياغه السياسات. ده تقرا جامعه الا من بعد ما تقرا ثانويه في الام روابه، بعد ذاك تهاجر تيجي خرطوم عشان تقرا جامعه خرطوم. كويس؟ والناس ديل يعني انا بستغرب انه يعني مثقفين جنوبيين لهسه قاعدين معي في منبر they don't understand this. عشان كده لو انتم لاحظتوا واحده من المشاكل اللي خلقتها السودان مع المثقفين بتاع دارفور، وانا كلام ده انا ناقشته مع ناس عبد الواحد، كنا بنناقش مع عبد الواحد وعم النور في 2001 2002 قبل ما يتمرن، انه معظم المثقفين الناس الخريجين اللي جو من الغرب تحديدا، وفي يعني ناس ابو سكين وفي مثقفين قاعدين يشاهدوا معنا هذا اللايف فيديو الان من كل العالم من السودانيين، انه واحد من المشاكل بتاع السودان كل مثقفين اللي بيجوا من السودان من الغرب وبيخشوا خرطوم لما يتعلموا ما بيرجعوا تاني للغرب، بينفصل بيتم يعني انتاج السياق بتاعنا في مركز في السودان. وطوالي بدو بتاع النيل بدو بتاع النيل لانه ده قالوا بقى زول نظيف وبقى زول يعني ما بقى لسه ما وسخان زي الناس اللي قاعدين في بلد الجهله وكده. let us be honest زي الجنوبيين. this is one of the problem اللي خلى الليله ده يصل تمرد في الشرق ويصل تمرد في غرب ومشاكل بتاع السودان واقصى الشمال الليله ما قاعده تتحل نتيجه الهيمنه والسيطره بتاعت المركز في السودان. كويس؟ الناس اللي طالعوا الفدراليه زي ما انا قلت قبل ده الجنوبيين ومعروفين في مظاهرات في السودان 55 no federation in one nation federation is separation. الليله ده جنوبيين انا شايف الناس بيكتبوا تيدل بيقولوا انه federation is كوكرا. so مولانا Emmnuel, let me start with مولانا Mayen. I will come to you مولانا Emmnuel. let me start with مولانا Mayen because let us discuss this. لانه النظام بتاع الحكم ولا 2013 الان مره اللي فات الناس قاعده تتكلم انه جنوب السودان تقسم ل 13 ولايه. ليه؟ ده كلام مولانا Emmnuel انت موجود انا دايرك بعدين وناس تريزا لما تيجي تتكلموا هنا. الاشكال انه الناس اللي بدات حتى عندنا ملكات 2013 هنا ما عندنا ناس بيقولوا يا جماعه هنا ما عندنا موارد. قالوا في قبائل بيانا مهيمن. ملكال ده كان بيقول انه حكومه ملكال ده مهيمن على شلوك ونوير. تمام ما نخلونا نكونوا واثقين كويس. ده من ضمن الحاجات في اشكال. الان في اتهام انه اكون موجود في جنوب السودان الان دينك كقبيله مهيمن عليه. وانا قبل انا كنت بتمنى مولانا Emmnuel وتريزا كلكم تشيروا للنقاط اللي انا ذكرتهم بتاعت الدومينيشن اوف وان ترايبل جروب في جنوب السودان في السلطه. واحده من المشاكل اللي خلق الاستقرار. بكره لو نوير خش في السلطه نوير برضه لو الرئيس بقى نويراوي نوير
امشي الجبال في انا قلت ذكرت الكلام ده جبال في كلامي.
ايوه كويس خالص. يعني بكره لو الرئيس جاء نويراوي نوير هيهيمن على السلطه في الجنوب. بكره لو الرئيس جاء شلكاوي ده هيجيب الشلو كله هيهيمن عليه في الجنوب زي ما سلفاكير is doing now. So how can we solve this؟ عشان نهيل الكلام ده انه كل السلطات بتاعت الدوله والموارد ما يكون موجود في يد بتاعت في الحكومه المركزيه. نفتش نظام اللي is distributing devolution of powers انه كل السلطات تقسم لكل المستويات. وانسب نظام الان كل الدول بيناقشوها وتعلموا من امريكا ده النظام الفدرالي. So let us go to مولانا Mayen. Then 10 minutes 7 let's take 10 minutes then ونمشي للباقي المتحدثين. Let us figure out how we dealing with this. Follow مولانا Mayen.
When I said that it is quasi-federal, I quoted the Minister of Federal Affairs, Dr. Richard K. Muller, because he agrees with me. He says that South Sudan is federal, but not federal enough. So the issue is not, when we say federal, we look at the Constitution, and I invite my colleagues to actually read Schedule B of the Constitution and the 42 powers.
Mayen.
Yes.
قبل ما تواصل انا دايركم المشاهدين ده تعليق من يوسف يحيى بقول لك يا كومرد ادوارد انت لو تختم الشهاده جامعه لو انت من خور برنجا ده بغرب اقصى الغرب لازم تركب تسافر تقطع مسافه 1000 كيلومتر مسافه كانك مسافر من فرنسا الى المانيا بس عشان تختم بها 15 جنيه تخسر 3 مليون جنيه. انا عشان كده let us discuss المشاكل ده open mind بالمناسبة. So فضل واصل.
That's a good point, yeah.
You know, and I invite my colleagues and all the viewers to go and read Schedule B, Schedule of the Constitution, the Transitional Constitution of 2011. In fact, that was almost the same Constitution that was adopted by the CPA, and the CPA created 25 states. So the 42 powers, these are exclusive powers, not even shared powers. These are exclusive powers that the Constitution gives the executive and the legislative branches of government at the state level. In 2010, all the members of parliament at the state level were elected members of parliament at the state level. The governors of the 10 states were elected governors. So when I was saying that we are already quasi-federal, I'm referring to the fact that the Constitution is structured in the manner that all federal states are structured. Of course, federalism is not Kokora. I disagree with that. Otherwise, the governors of the 10 states or the parliaments of the 10 states would have asked people to leave. But the government of the 10 states which were exclusively made of people who belong to those states. You wouldn't find a Dinka in the parliament in Yambio or a commissioner in Yambio, but you wouldn't find Anwar in Eastern Equatoria as member of parliament in Eastern Equatoria, or a governor in Eastern Equatoria, or in Central Equatoria for that matter. For the executive powers and the legislative powers of the states were for the people of that state. So we had a central government and we had a state government. What I'm saying is that there was no capacity within the state themselves. And this is what the concern of Dhol Larjin was genuine, that the foundation, the capacity within the states are not yet in place to actually create the institutions and the bureaucracies that would run the 42 competencies.
But let me ask you a question to continue. Why do you want Shulkawi Masalan Shuluk to be a member in Parliament in Awil Masalan? Or like you're talking, you need Denkawi Masalan to be a member in Torid Masalan. Why?
No, I'm saying there was no. I was saying that because it is, and the parliaments were actually they looked like federal parliaments. No, there was no complaint in those parliaments that people were coming from other regions. It's not that I want. I was just giving examples that the 10 parliaments to the people that are coming from the 10 states. So each state had executive powers. That's the constitution gave them. Each state, all the ministers in those 10, in each state, all the ministers in Central Equatoria states were from the tribes that are in Central Equatoria. All the ministers in Eastern Equatoria states were ministers from the tribes that are in Eastern Equatoria. That is why we have had quasi-territorial federalism in South Sudan. Now the issue is capacity. Do we have the capacity to actually implement these 42 competencies? That is why when I was talking yesterday about Dr. Rial, if he or other government, other ministers, for example, or partners in the agreement, why do you reject a state? Because if you know what the Constitution wants from you, the Constitution wants from you when you are going to rule this state, you have to create these bureaucracies to go through the 42 exclusive competencies that are given to the state government. There are so many competencies, including the state police. I was in parliament, I participated in drafting the South Sudan Police Act and most of the acts in the first parliament. I was a participant in drafting and proofreading and all that. You know, the states had powers. The state had powers, but they did not have the capacity to carry out these powers, and the central government did not have the will to give them all to respect those powers. The issue was respecting powers, not putting the powers in the Constitution. Go to Schedule B again, look at the 42 powers. Which of the powers that we are talking about are not part of the 42 powers that the Constitution gave the states? Which are the new, when we are talking of law enforcement, at the state level, the state has the competence to control law enforcement agencies, including police, prisons, wildlife, because they are closer to the ground. They have the competencies to look at the courts, whether the county court or the high court or the court of appeal or the Supreme Court or the magistrate courts. They are all controlled by the judiciary at the state level. These are all constitutional powers. The question is, do these states actually have the capacity to create 42 bureaucracies to actually implement this? The answer is simply no. We have states that are, even the office of the governor, let alone the other bureaucracies, offices of the governors were under trees. Those were in the 32 states. In the 10 states, of course, they are headquarters, they are good. There were some taxation systems, they are good. They are not up to date, the states could not raise funds to run their own, to pay salaries, because civil servant should be paid. The best states that paid their civil servants was the Central Equatorial State, because all the goods were coming to Juba, and Juba was part of Central Equatorial State. That is why you find a director. All of you were in Juba. A director in the government of Central Equatoria was better than a director in the central government. A director in the government of Central Equatoria had a car and has even a house given to him by the government of Central Equatoria. And these directors are from Central Equatoria themselves. They are not from other regions. So what we are saying is that the constitution is tailored, almost a quasi-federal. Even if we create a new federal system, we will change the name from that South Sudan is governed on the basis of decentralization to South Sudan is governed on the basis of federalism. These are the few changes that we are going to make, but most of the powers that are already in the constitution will remain the way they are. The only thing is that let us build capacity. Let us build capacity at the state level so that simply put, let them raise their own funds. Let the police be also, since federalism, there is no...
With 2 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, since there is no one size fits all in terms of federalism, you can play with percentages. You can decide that at the police level, the police at the state level. Let us say 60% should be sons of that state because they know everything in that state. Prison services, 60% from that state because they know. But a violation of the constitution happened in Juba. The law was passed. I was the one who even drafted the assent letter from the speaker, who was eager to be sent to the president. But that was a violation of the constitution itself. The Equatorial Caucus in the National Parliament, the first parliament, moved away because it is a clear violation that the constitution talks about the police should be state police. Now you have centralized the police. So it is just a violation of the constitution. The constitution says governors are elected. They should be, a vote of no confidence should be passed by state parliaments because these are the representatives of the people in the state. But you find the president now removing governors. This is a violation of the constitution. Whether it is a decentralized constitution or a federal constitution, it is still a violation of the constitution because these procedures are clearly stipulated in the constitution. What we are talking about is let us respect the constitution rather than we want a federal state, a federal system. But let us also make sure that we have capacity within the state to raise their own funds, to pay their own civil servants. But we also urge the central government not to interfere. We want the Council of States to be elected because they are representatives of the state. They cannot rule over states when they are appointed by the president. We want county commissioners to be elected and county councils to be elected. These are the things that we need. If we are to perfect this system, even this decentralized is closer to the federal system. If we are to perfect it, then let us urge the central government to respect what is written in the constitution.
Yeah,
our biggest problem is in the central government, not in the constitution itself, and not in the devolved powers. The powers are already devolved. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Molana. Zaman bitag inta. Ana benazil التهد أنا برفع كيادي بعدك the mandore will bring you up. Molana Emmnuel, take the floor.
No, thank you, Baj Mohandes. And I would like only to recap the importance of federalism.
Yes.
And the other issue, I would also like to respond to Molana Mayen. And I'm more likely agreeing with Molana Tereza. And she read it. It is actually the preamble of the constitution that defined the system of governance in the country. South Sudan is not federal. It is a decentralized form of governance. Now, we need to be clear about what's the difference between decentralization and a federal system.
Exactly.
Okay? In a federal system, the relationship that governs the federal, the states, and the counties are clear. The states the law protects that kind of relationship. Decentralization is a loose. you know, is a loose kind of relations that is not really protected that much by the constitution provisions that you have, you know. Mayen talked about everything is written there in the constitution in terms of the federal system and so forth. To some extent, yes, but in practice it's not, you know. When you look at South Sudan today, President Kiir has the right to dismiss the governors at his whim. Elected governors, Kiir can dismiss them. So if the essence of federalism is a devolution of power, is that now a devolution of power? Because if you can dismiss the governors, that means the governors has no power in the states. And that's the most important power, is the power of to be able that the legislature and the governor that has been elected must maintain, you know, his independence and his power. Now you have a president that can dismiss governors. That means he has violated the power relations between him and the sister states. If it was a proper federal system, President Kiir will not be entitled to dismiss governors. In the US or any other federal system, no president or prime minister can dismiss elected governors, you know, because it is protected by the constitution. Now you come to the issue of wealth. It's not a matter of capacity. You know, I can be genius. Like I can do nothing. Okay? If you look at South Sudan today, mostly 90% of the resources that are produced in the states, where do they end up? They end up in Juba. Okay? 90% of the resources end up in Juba. So the power, that is devolution of power, as per se, is not in South Sudan. Okay? The president, as I mentioned, is still abuses his power. Come to wealth, which these are the main pillars of having a federal system. Devolution of power and devolution of wealth. If you look at wealth also, everything is centralized. Okay? نحن يا جماعة زي ما أنت قلت يا باج مهندس ونشكر أخونا يوسف. أوكي؟ أفتكر في واحد من الإخوة يوسف يحيى وكان كتب حاجة شوية قبل.
Yes.
المشكلة الموجودة في السودان. أوكي؟ لأنه منذ الاستغلال السودان الحكومة كلها كان حكومة مركزية. الخرطوم الأزمة المثلثة هي اللي كانت جامع وهي كان كل شيء في السودان. زي ما هو قال لو امتحنت شهادة في الخردقة والخرومر لازم تجي خرطوم. اوكي عشان طلعوا لك. لو دير شهادة الميلاد كما أسلفت من قبل تجي خرطوم عشان طلعوا لك. لو دير أي حاجة ديل تجي خرطوم. لو جاي من جوبا هتمشي لخرطوم عشان تجيبه. اوكي ده خلق تحميش في الولايات وعدم تنمية في الولايات. اوكي وده اللي كان الأذر وده اللي كان السبب اللي خلى بين السودان يخش في الحروبات الموجودة حسي. تهميش الأطراف. اوكي تهميش الأطراف اللي كانت حصلت في السودان. فالناس في الأطراف بقى ما عندهم خيار. اوكي لأنه هم مظلومين في السلطة ومظلومين في الثروة. فالخيار الوحيد عندهم اللي يشيلوا السلاح ويحاربوا اوكي ضد النظام الموجودة في الشمال عشان يغيروا السيستم الموجودة. فنحن في الفدرالي اسمه السنتراليزيشن اللي كانت موجودة اسمه السلطة المركزية في السودان المضت. اوكي ما نموذج بخلينا نشجع بانه نحن في جنوب السودان should adopt the same system. اوكي لانه السيستم ده جاب بس ما جاب حاجه الا هطول الحرب في جنوب في السودان ولا جاب عدم الاستقرار في البلد ما في تنميه. But I would like to answer our sister because this is the second time she's raising this question. Our sister Kaidi, if I pronounce it correctly, you know, I think her fear is what happens if the state does not have resources. And I think we have been answering this in a lot of our intervention. We say there's something called equalization fund. What do? As a government, when you agree that you have a federal system in the country, each and every state will contribute to this fund. It's called equalization fund. Okay. Now this fund will be under the supervision of the federal government in Juba, for example. Okay. كل ولايات العشرة will contribute financially. فرضنا في ولاية اسمها ولاية والولاية whatever you want to call it في جنوب. ما عنده إمكانيات. Okay. What do? They apply for these funds. These funds are available for them. بقدموا طلب بأنه نحن محتاجين طرق، محتاجين مستشفيات، محتاجين مدارس. Okay. The government will avail the funds for them. Okay, so ما ممكن we are not saying that we should have a state لأنه الولايات اللي عندهم mineral resources ده خلاص يشيلوا كل شيء. No, we are saying we should develop a system. Maulana Tereza gave a good example of Berlin. You know, Berlin is poor in terms of resources. It's one of the poorest, you know, for Almania. But through this equalization funds that can in them, Berlin now is almost, if you go to Berlin, you think is the most advanced, you know, in comparison to other areas. So, my sister, we can take care of it through what we call the equalization fund. You know, people will contribute this fund, and this fund will help. It's not all your kid will be successful, but you as a father, you always, or a mother, you always tend to help the child that is left behind. You know, be it in terms of paying enough attention to them, or giving them more time, or giving them financial help, so they catch up with their brothers and sisters. This is what we want to do in a federal system. فازنو نغاشنا في إجماع في نغاش باج مهندس.
نعم.
إنه الفederalism is the way to go in South Sudan. It is through federalism that we can actually reconcile the diversity. شفتها الdiversity الموجودة, the rainbow الموجودة في السودان, في جنوب السودان. We can only resolve it through having a concrete federal system to address this. But that's not the only issue. Federalism is a mechanism of establishing distribution of power and wealth. But also you need a political ideology. A political ideology that will understand the essence of federalism and will build on federalism to transform the socioeconomic lives of the people of South Sudan. You know, India, for example, in 1947, when they became, you know, adopted federal system to deal with their diversity, you know, Nehru, who was the prime minister at that time, you know, he was a social democrat, like myself, for example. He believed in social democracy, you know. And then they say that this political ideology is what is best for us to develop federalism and to entrench it. What does that mean? It means the central government in Juba must be able, through his party philosophy, to encourage what we call cooperative organizations within the states. You know, as you said, there's a lot of youth who are unemployed in South Sudan. So what do we need to do as a priority of a government? A government priority should be industrialization of South Sudan, taking in mind the federal system that you have. If you decide that you want to industrialize South Sudan, you will need electricity for that matter, for example. Now, in Eastern Equatoria, Western Equatoria, in the Fula Dam, you know, the government will be able to take such projects and fund these projects in collaboration with the state, okay, to generate electricity in Junub Sudan. The same thing with the oil fields in Upper Nile and in Unity. The government will have a venture between the state government and the government in Juba, the federal government, of how, you know, to actually build refineries. Now, you build refineries, you create jobs. The same thing with the agricultural revolution you have. You will have to identify which states that has actually fertile land and can contribute to the food security in South Sudan. Now, what do you do as a government? You tend to help them. You enter into a partnership with these states so that you help them buy the machineries that is required. It may not be beyond their budget. You help them, you know, to buy the agricultural machineries so that they can cultivate and provide food security to our people in South Sudan. That way you create jobs. You know, you create jobs in these states, but you're actually having a balance between all the states. Hajatani, we need to look at Khalimi resources barao. We also have the tourism, for example, for Junub Sudan. Tourism in Kenya now is one of the main income, like Kenya. Okay, tourism in Jungule is one of the richest region in South Sudan with wildlife. You know, you can turn that into a tourism what do you call it, sector. You know, you can also build hotelat el hinak to attract tourists to come in. So you will have an industry, a service industry in this area that could provide enough money, not only for the people of Jungule, but also to the people of South Sudan. Agriculture, you divide it. Tamil, for example, for Rang or Malut, Tamil Sharka Sukar, okay, Bita Malut. The same thing in Rang, Bita Zara. The same thing in Bita Rus, Fiawil, and other places in Western Equatoria. So what you do as a government, you must have a clear ideology and policy.
Yeah, you remain with 1 minute. No?
Okay, of how to have an equal and an equal development in all the states. And any state that's lacking behind, the government has to step in and create a partnership with them in terms of giving them loans and urging other states to help in so that we could develop. You know, Sudan ma poor. Molana keep on saying that federalism is expensive. That's not an option for us not to adopt federalism because of being expensive. You know, Sudan is not poor. By the way, low interview were lighter and you generate money. What will make you poor? Not to run your government smoothly. My annual resources between 90% or 70% of my resources, even 60% is kept في ولاية على النيل. أنا كوالي بتاع النيل ما في حاجة will prevent me بمنعني عشان على النيل يتقدم. Okay, أنا it was left my imagination. أنا ممكن نبني مطار دولي في ملكال ونجي نشيل السمك ده نصدره برا للخليج ولا بقر نصدره برا للخليج. Okay, ده بعد كده تعيق بتاعك الجفنة. You have to be imaginative of what you do. Thank you باز مهندس.
شكرا. بالضبط كده زمنك في نفس المواعيد. انا انزل اجتهاد وبرفع فوق مولانا ميان، لكن انا دايرين نتفق انه بعد ما يتكلم تريزا وسيستر كايدي، وانا عندي سؤال انه الخلاصه بتاعت الحوار بتاعنا اكشولي نقول انه النقاط اللي اتفقنا عليه وكيفيه تنزيل او تطبيق الفدراليه في جنوب السودان. That will be the last question and انا اخليكم تجاوب عليه بعد ذاك، لانه الاسبوع الجاي هنمشي نجي بحلقات ثانيه في موضوع بتاع دستور. في ناس برضو جابوا انه نجيب مقترح بتاع كيفيه انه دستور هنا دايرين نعمل على الصياغه بتاع دستور دايم في جنوب السودان. So will be one الكويس مولانا مانويل القانوني وسيستر تريزا قانوني وكذلك مولانا ميان will come also في مقترح زي ده. انا بعد بنشاوركم في خاص نتفق في الحلقه الجايه في موضوع برضو عن الجيش. في ناس قالوا انه نناقش برضو يجي في التيبل الاسم بتاع الجيش، الاسم الخطوه ده اسم بتاع الجيش بتاع يوغندا. Why are we adopting اسم بتاع يوغندا instead انه هنا مثلا يعني
ما اسم جيش SPLM ده اسم السودان. why we adopting خليك من جيش Sudan People Liberation Movement.
So هنا we will come also في show هنا نتفق ونناقش الحاجات دي. why we still هنا دولة منفصلة والحركة الشعبية لسه قاعد يستخدم Sudan People Liberation Movement. يعني a lot of confusion. So let's go to Sister Tereza.
Yeah, thank you, Maulana Emmnuel, and also my sister Kaidi and Maulana Mayen is here. I just want to go back to what actually the federal system can do to the people of South Sudan, or even to the people in general. Like for instance, I mean,
Maulana Mayen, Tereza, ما كان ممكن تاخذ تليفونه في landscape. Can you unmute yourself?
landscape.
Oh, okay, خلاص. Okay, واصل تريزا.
Yes. Yeah, فاحنا بنقول انه ليه النظام الفدرالي مهم جدا. حتى قبل انا ذكرت في التنافس in a competition between the state by themselves. There is one notion that people of South Sudan should understand, that the oil that we are bragging about, that we are a rich country because we have oil, we should not be deceived by this word, because the oil is not there for a long-term life. This is a resource that will finish within, let's say, within 20 to 30 years from now. This oil will no longer be there. So we better look at the different resources. That's why we are saying the first thing in the federal system is the human being is the first resource. You utilize them, you use them wisely, you educate them, you teach them to be productive. What my brother Emmnuel mentioned, and I want to emphasize more on that you will actually give those states, this state to be productive, to utilize whatever resource they have there. Like for instance, if we look at places like in the northern Upper Nile, for instance, the areas, let's say, whether in Rang or whether even in Abyei, whether in other places, in Ruang or wherever, you have the Arab gum. We call it the African gum. Let's call it South Sudanese gum. ده بيدخل في منتجات كثيرة في المجتمع الأمريكي والأوروبي، ومستحضرات التجميل في الأدوية وحاجات كثيرة. عندنا ده في جنوب السودان. We should also utilize that. We have for instance احنا بنقول له fruit اللي اسمه لولو اخد بتاعي كايدي هنا she knows that. هنا when you this here when you come you will find it in the market, international market, whether even in America here it's so expensive. الباتر بتاعه اللي بيقول له شنو shea butter. This is what we are using. Even me right now, I'm using on my hair. If you want, you buy one container. One container is $8. This is only the smaller one. And we have that fruit. يعني fruit ده احنا بنطلع منه oil واحنا بناكله كفروتس احنا بناكل. ده برضه في مناطق بتاع بارغزال الكبرى. انت كمشيت في مناطق زي في توني وانت مشيت في مناطق زي في غرب بارغزال حتى في واو برضه كله ده في ده برضو إنتاج. we should use our mind برا من زراعة. we have قطن مصنع أنزارة ده كان مصنع بتاع قطن من زمان. we can also utilize that. we have a lot of fruits in those areas. This we can also use them and do what and create more factories that we can use those people that we have to be productive to produce something out there so we can actually export them out. We have the what do you call it البن ده في ايه ده كان ده مشاريع كان موجوده برا من كده من الارض. فعشان كده احنا ما نعتمد كثير. في ناس بينقشوا بانه يا اخي هسه when we are talking about federalism there are some states are poor. No, there is no state in South Sudan that is poor. We should not always focus on what we call it oil, because if we really want to go faster in development, we should have actually used the oil money to build our institutions and to build our factories to make our people to be productive so we can produce something, what we call it this food security. الغذاء الأمن الغذائي مهم جدا في جنوب السودان. So this is actually to add into that. When you go to places like Terkeka, when you go to Lokoya land, them مناطق بيزرعوا فيه فول السوداني. Here you have in places like America, they produce the peanut butter and they send it out even up to the Middle East and Africa. And في نفس الوقت انت عندك product ده هناك في South Sudan. You can even use it. ده جزء ده حاجة أنا قاعد أديك إنه شنو ده بيخلي إنه لما يكون في ولاية when there is an state within the federal state and they have this kind of product or high kind of goods, they will use it internally and also to export it to the central and also to send it to different states or to export them out to the neighboring country or even outside to the international market. This is something that I want to tell you. لما نجي في موضوع بتاع الفدرال system, what the federal system actually my brother Edward will help us. ده بيورينا انه شنو التنافس في داخل الولايه. حتى التعيين للناس في وظائف بيكون بتساوي لانه في دساتير وفي دستور ولايه وفي دستور فدرالي بتنظم هذا العمل. يعني لما يكون في توزيع بتاع even scholarship للطلبه لخارج او في داخل البلد بيكون بتساوي. الفدرال سيستم ذاته بخلي انه شنو انت بتلقى مثلا الولايات اللي already كان عندهم مدارس those state who actually have a school, a permanent school, they will establish it. They will bring children from other states to come and go to this high school. They will learn together. There will be a competition culturally, economically. All of that will let our people to get to know each other better, to respect the law. And this is what we are saying, that each state will have their own constitution. But that constitution was not actually يعني ما بيتعارض مع الدستور الفدرالي لانه الدستور الفدرالي ده بيلمهم مع بعض. لكن في حاجه انا داير نوري في ناس قاعدين يتكلم موضوع الفدرال سيستم والنظام المركزي او لا مركزي. في النظام المركزي الحكومه في السنتر هناك ممكن يتدخل ممكن يعمل اي تغيير، لكن في النظام الفدرالي الحكومه في المركز ما ممكن يعمل اي تغيير، لانه هنا في الولايه ناس في الولايه هم بيعينوا ولا بتاعهم بيعينوا البرلمانيين بتاعهم اللي بيمشي يمثلهم في البرلمان القومي هناك او البرلمان الفدرالي. ده نقطه انا اقدر اوضحه توضيح شديد. والنظام الفدرالي بيعمل على بينظم كل ولايه يكون عنده قوانين بتاعه. اي زول جاي بالنظام يعني ناس مثلا انا الليله كان ماشي اشتغل، انا طالع من ولايه بتاع نيويورك ده امشي اشتغل في اي ولايه ثاني، لازم انا اطالب بورقه بتاع عمل. انا ما بمشي ساي زي لانه قوانين بتاعهم هناك مختلف، وورقه بتاع عمل ده بيتم تجديده كل مره. يعني انا لما جينا اول حاجه هنا انا عملت ورقه بتاع عمل، يعني فوميتو عشان امشي اشتغل لازم يكون عندي ورقه بتاع عمل ده، حتى لو جاي من بلد ثاني وين نو ده will not work. even الدرايفنج لايسنس بتاعك لازم يكون تابع قوانين بتاع الولايه. فده الحاجات بتسهل. يعني شوف النظام الفدرالي بينزل لادنى مستويات، they will go down to the lower level actually to let the people feel that they are part of the system, that they are actually part of the system in order for them to provide service to themselves. They will even know how to you know to help in bringing the wealth to the state. يعني هم هيعمل على تنافس. فده حاجه انا دار بسيط، الكلام انا دار نضيفه في النقطه الحقيقيه اللي احنا طرحناه في النظام الفدرالي. انت بتلقى مثلا في ولايه واحد لو كان في كم قبائل وما ادراك، هم ما بينظروا الى كلام قبيله، ده بينظروا الى التمثيل بتاعهم الولايه. اهم حاجه الفائده اللي بيجي لهم في ولايه كشعب في داخل الولايه ده، ما كقبائل. لانه اي زول اللي هم بيصوتوا له في ولايه هنا يمشي يمثلوا، ما بينظروا له بانه زول ده من قبيله فلان او زول ده دينكاو او زول ده مرلي او من كده. هم بينظروا له كمواطن من هذا الولايه بيمثلهم هناك في برلمان القومي الفدرالي هناك. فده نقطه انا دار اضيفه. كان في دقيقه ثانيه ممكن توريني، ولا في سؤال ثاني ممكن تطرح لي؟
يا خلاص نجيب هنا لو انت انتهيت بعدك انا بديك تعليق في الجايه.
اوكي ما في مشكله.
يا وباقي لك دقيقه لكن تثبتها let me mute you. انا افتكر شكرا جزيلا مولانا تريزا، وزي انت شايف الناس المشاهدين تاني يتفاعلوا معك كثير لانه تركزت على النقاط مهمه جدا. والفهم بتاعتنا طبعا حكومه جنوب السودان يعني خلال ال7 سنوات المضت في جنوب السودان ركز يعني علم الجنوبيين انه الناس بتعتمد على الاشياء الجائزه مثل البترول. يعني الناس ركزوا انه الاكثر قروش ممكن تلقوه جائز هو قروش بتاع البترول. عشان كده الناس دي كلها فهموا بس انه والله مناطق اللي فيه بترول الناس الغيانين متناسيين انه البترول ده يعني انت مرتبط السعر بتاعه مرتبط بالتناقض بتاع السوق العالمي. واسا انتوا شايفين الناس اللي قاعدين انا في امريكا وكندا ناس ميان، يعني انتوا عارفين البترول هسه سعره انه وصل
بالضبط يا ادوار. بس نضيف يعني زي ما احنا شايفين هسه البترول ده هسه انت لما الفتره اللي فاتت لما مشينا اشترينا بس عشان نملى التانك بتاع عربيه، يا زي كانه ما دفعنا اي حاجه. honestly speaking حتى الناس بتاع الجاز ستيشن هم دايرين ناس ذاته يشيلوا الاويل. يعني الاويل دروب تو الزيرو ليفل. يعني اساس الاويل بتاعنا ده تعمل بوش تشربه، ما خير احنا نعتمد على الزراعه. ده نقطه نضيف معلش.
يا عشان كده الابتكار بتاعت انه نعتمد على المنتجات الاخرى في جنوب السودان. جنوب السودان بلد زراعي وبلد غنيه بموارد، بس هنا محتاجين لانه كيف في قياده زي ما قاعد نناقش قياده سياسيه عندها رؤيه وتوزيع بتاع السلطه على الاساس انت بذل الحاجات دي كلها تكون في مركز ويصل عمليه بتاع التقدس. وانا داير برضه اخونا كيادي اتعلق على كلام مولانا ميان. يعني انتوا هسه لو انتم ملاحظين يعني هنا الناس كلها في جوبا، يعني بيزول اللي ما عنده ريزون جال باي ساكت كويس انا بسميه يعني جال باي ده ما محتاج تجيبوا لنا جوبا. جوبا ده عاصمه مش جوبا ده يفترض يكون عاصمه فيه موظفين ناس عندهم مهنه يعني. لكن انت لاحظ ليه؟ لانه كل الموارد كلها في جوبا عشان تلقى حق للناس في جوبا. لذلك كل دول لازم يفتش طريقه عشان يقدر يمشي وين، عشان يمشي لجوبا على الاقل يلقى له الفرصه انه يعني يقدر يشتغل او يقدر يمشي اشاعات او يقدر يعمل كده. لكن لذلك هنا قاعد نقول انسب نظام عشان ما نعيد الاخطاء بتاعتنا الحاصله اللي جبناها من السودان. وده جزء من الاخطاء اللي خلانا الجنوبيين تتمردوا. ما وات از جاستيفيكيشن؟ اذا انت الليله ده نفس السيستم اللي كان بيحكم به في السودان اللي هو النظام المركزي، انت جاي قاعد تطبقه لنا في الجنوب، وانت اصلا انت كنت داير المرتب من الشمال قال لنا مظلومين ما مشاركين في السلطه، مواطنين بتاعنا ما في تنميه. عشان تعمل تنميه لازم هنا السلطات دي كلها نشيلها برا من مركز، نشيلها برا من السيطره بتاعه اللصوص والحراميه وتتوزع في مستوى بتاع الولايات كويس. والولايات اللي ما عندها مثلا الموارد زي ما قال مولانا ايمانويل ما فيها كوادر، لازم تفكر يا اخي دبي ده كان فيه تقول لي فيه ما سهره ساكت. اين دبي اليوم؟ which kind of people we are؟ الناس بيقول لك هنا ما عندنا what do you mean انت ما عندك موارد؟ ما عندك موارد. يا اخي الجنوب ده كله لوطة اخضر. حديد ساقط حديد ده كان زراعته في اي منطقه في الجنوب بقوم. So let us listen to our sister Kaidi, then we will نمشي لمولانا ميان. تفضل Kaidi. Let me
It's okay. Okay, thank you, Brother Edward. Thank you, Teresa, for raising those points once again. Before I just say anything with regards to that, I just want to clarify to Brother Emmnuel Ajawin, if he's watching or listening to me. When I brought the issue of resources and security, I didn't bring it as a question, but I brought it up as some of the issues that the disadvantages of federalism generally. And that's why I quoted the second statement that Edward has said, that there is no general theory of federalism, so we can work something out. And I concentrated mostly on the issue of health services, because that's what I said would be the biggest issue for South Sudan. We can still make the hospitals with good services accessible to all citizens until they are independent and they have their system in place. So that was not a question, and maybe you missed part of what I'm saying. I think what Sister Tereza was saying is real, because I've been thinking about the petroleum, and really one day we had somebody wrote on Facebook that I don't understand that the price of the petroleum is minus something, and I was like, it's because the petroleum companies are paying some people to take the petroleum because they have to pay for storage, and there's no income coming, everybody's staying at home. And it is very important that for us South Sudanese, we have to think about diversification of resources, because we believe that after coronavirus everything is going to come back to normal, but this is not the case. The prices of petroleum, I'm quite sure America, the biggest consumer of petroleum, they have stored enough for themselves, and I'm sure Trump was bragging about that, and maybe if they're not buying, then the prices will always be down. And the next important petroleum that is going to the next important petroleum for us is the internet, whatever, the iCloud, where to store your things. Now we have it for free, but one day we're going to pay for it, because this will be our life. We'll be running our cars, our home, or everything will be on our cell phone. So this will be, and then the age of petroleum will finish. What are we going to do? We have to understand, sometimes when we do not have the information, or we are not exposed, we might think petroleum is everything. However, a country like Tunis is just like, its economy is dependent on tomatoes. Yeah, tomato or shatta, that's all. Best itnian hajadel. So if you see a country can be run on tomatoes and pepper, why not? We can run our states on whatever we have there. So it's just like, how can people think outside the box?
Yes.
Yeah, how can we think outside the box and not just be consumers of the ideas that comes in, like, oh, you have petrol, that's what we need, because no, we have to think about other things, and we can diversify some economy, like the places like Vegas. What is Vegas dependent on? It's just like the casinos that are Vegas, and that's it. We look at Swiss is rich because their banks, whatever money comes in, it's safe. So everybody went in to hide their money in Switzerland, yeah, to keep it safe. So, and that's what they're rich because of that. Everybody, you steal money, you hide it there. Even if you have your money, put it there, it's safe. But the economy is very strong. So when we're talking about South Sudan, I think we mentioned that something about, when we talk about federalism, it is understood that people are against a certain tribe. When we talk about tribal hegemony, people will say, oh, practiced by Kir regime. People think that, oh, okay, we are against my tribe. But that's not the issue, okay? The tribal hegemony is being practiced by the government, is being practiced by the Gen Council of Elders. But who's benefiting from that? Is the regular Dinka person benefiting? Yeah, we have so many Dinka youth who are hiding in Wow because they don't want to be forced into those militias. Yeah, they have to run. So those are the poor people, and these policies, the tribal hegemony, they treat you better. They're just treating you better than anybody else. Whatever I say can put me in trouble. But if you say the same thing like me, it will not put you in trouble. And you will see, well, no, but this country is free. I said that. It didn't happen to me. Maybe something else is wrong with you. Yeah, but unless people like my colleague, the late Isaiah Abraham, when you're too much, and then they will finish you. But there are people who will talk against the government as much as they want. They go there, it's okay, they come back. So the Dinka tribe, the government is using them just to keep them, and they make you feel that Sudan belongs to you, because I've been reading some of the comments here. Somebody's talking, these are the sentiments that Jain Council of Elders is trying to put on the Dinka people, that you are the original people in Sudan. Somebody was talking about the Acholi, because some are in Sudan and some are in Uganda. That means Acholi people are not Sudanese. But I would just like to ask people that let's go and read the history of Africa. Let's go and see the book that says Scramble for Africa. How did it happen? Was Africa divided when God created Africa? Africa was never divided until 1840 something, after the Berlin Conference. So like somebody is sitting in Europe and is drawing lines. The master of Britain, take this. France come, because they were almost getting to fight amongst themselves. They decided, okay, let's not fight. Let's take our fight to the other people. So they like itula shuta ben Sudan ulib Mesir Sudan Libya the master. Yeah. So Al Gata Hina Gata. We have an example of two brothers, Egre Awori and Mudi Awori. They're brothers. And one is Ugandan, one is a Kenyan, because when they divided the boundary, maybe one house fell in Uganda and the other house fell in Kenya. So people should not, this issue that goes on, you're not from Sudan, you're coming from Gabon. Africa was one, and it's somebody else who came, and it's not us who divided ourselves, but somebody just came in and divided our territory. So we have to understand that as people, the Jain Council of Elders will use this tribal politics to have the support of the Dinka people. And then one day, maybe if they can finish us, if they finish us in South Sudan, and then this is when you really see that Allah, we did all this for you, and then you're turning against us. Manato nas dekano, but nas kulumato. Yeah, but Anna, for me, I don't want that to happen. We have to save ourselves. Let us do something that we see is reasonable, and one day there's nothing permanent. If we saw that now we love each other and we have that sense of patriotism and we want to have a centralized government, why we can go for it. But for the moment, somebody from a different state cannot stand up for the government to defend my right, because it doesn't bother them. So that's why we are seeing, for us who are suffering, federalism is the answer. And it's not that when you come to my state, I'm going to mistreat somebody. No, you have the right to come there, to live there, to work there, like always. But there's some rules that will change. The issue of grazing was not an issue before. We know Muslim bitat bagar bijimten, ubarjamiten, all this is regularized and we have it, and we were practicing it. Even the Ambororo for hundreds and hundreds of years, they go all over Africa. They're practicing the same thing. And why is there a problem with them within South Sudan, and there's no problem with the Ambororo, like I mentioned in the past? So something just went wrong. And people, it's not only that people with Tarcharat, Nas be Silah al Budula Jesha Lela Fijuba Bukra, Itatalgao in the cattle keeper, and he's bringing his cattle. And they're killing people, they're raping women, and destroying crops and all that, and you can't say anything. So yeah, this is my addition to what Sister Tereza and everybody else has mentioned.
Yeah, you have 1 minute actually. Thank you. شكرا لك. خلينا نراهي برضو مولانا إمانويل. أنا عادي فرصة لميان نحن احتمال مولانا ميان يدو تعليق للكلام اللي قالوا جبال كله. بعد فاداك نحن دايرين نشوف الخلاصة بتاعتنا في الموضوع بتاعت الفدرالية. And what is recommendation and what we are telling our people. So let Kaidi, let go with Maulana Mayen. أنا دايرك no before أنا داير ميان تعلق لأنه أنا ما دايرك تجاوب على ده because ما دينا فرصة. أنا دايرك تعلق بعدك بنبدا مع مولانا مالويل and we take the round again. Yeah, تفضل.
I think the misrepresentation of what I've said, whether it is because it was not understood or was not clear enough. Maulana Ajawin said that I'm giving these justifications to refuse federalism. From the onset, I said I want federalism. And if you go back to if you rewind, I repeat, I've never said in this show that this is justification for refusing federalism. I'm talking about perfecting the federal structures that we have now, not rejecting federalism. The failure of the quasi-federal system in South Sudan, not only by me, what I'm saying it quasi-federal. In fact, the Minister of Federal Affairs, Dr. Richard K. Muller, who is from Central Equatoria, who's from Eastern Equatoria, is calling it a federal system, but not federal enough. So I'm not alone. The people are talking, Maulana Tereza talked about that the will. I'm saying that since 2005, the Constitution has been, not will, has been having these powers. The states, the failure in South Sudan is the failure of the central government and also the failure of the state government, because most of the state governments were corrupt. The governors were, a governor is appointed today. Just in 3 months, he becomes a millionaire. A county commissioner is appointed today. In 2 months, he becomes a millionaire and he buys a house in, this is a failure all across the board, not only in Juba, but even in these states. So let us account wherever we come from. Let us account our state government themselves and ask them, going through the Constitution itself, what have you done with this part of the Constitution that gives you the powers? The failure was in certain governors who were voted but did not deliver based on the constitutional powers that are given to the states. Reading from the Constitution itself, page 80, Schedule B, 40-something exclusive powers. These are not concurrent powers, exclusive powers of the state. For 15 years, these states have had these powers. What have they done with that? Adopting point 1 of Schedule B, Maulana Tereza saying we'll have a constitution. I'm saying it is saying adoption and amendment of state constitution subject to conformity with the national constitution. The states have had their own constitution for 15 years. It is not will. It's not a federal government, a federal system will give you a constitution. This system has a constitution already. The states have constitutions. Looking at point 2 and 7 of the schedule itself. Point 2 is talking about state police, prison, wildlife. Wildlife, the wildlife conservation, the parks at the state level will be controlled by the state, and the central government will just supervise, because these wildlife, the parks, fall within the 10 states of South Sudan. This is what the Constitution says. You ask the governors, what have you done with that? Going to point 7, state land and state natural resources. You ask the governors, what have you done, my governor? What have you done with controlling these natural resources and the land? I was in Juba. I know what Kelemen Wani Konga did in Juba. You go to his room. He had tokens under his bed. He will give you a token, and you go and build a place. He will give you a letter. You go to the land state land office, and they will register that land. You go to the national. They will register it in the court. All of us in Juba know that. And there was some money you pay to the state government. So you account your state governors. What have you done? Why are you giving tokens? And instead of saying land grabbing, it is, of course, land grabbing is there. But what is the role of the state governors in this land grabbing? I've seen tokens removed by state governors. It's not that everybody grabbing land without the cooperation of the state governors themselves. Going to point 13 of the Schedule B, establish the regulation and provision of health care, including hospitals and other health facilities. You ask state governors, what healthcare facilities have you built? Because we voted you in 2010 to implement these constitutional powers. These are constitutional powers. Going to point for the Constitution itself. Regulation of business, trade licenses, working conditions, hours, holidays within the states. These are exclusive powers of the state. Some states have given licenses to foreign. Now almost 30% of South Sudan is given to foreigners who, with a lease of 99 years. 99 years, 30% is taken by foreigners for 99 years. This is what brought colonialism to Africa. The Makoko agreements between the chiefs in Congo and the Belgian, the King Leopold in Belgium. This is the justification for the Belgians to come and say, we have an agreement with chiefs. Governments are giving licenses to foreigners. You account your state government, are you giving licenses, big chunks of land, our state lands, to foreigners? Going still through the Constitution, looking at Article 20, bullet point 20, agriculture within the state. Agriculture within the state is exclusively the competence of state government. You ask state governments, what have you done? Let us leave the central government alone. This is a constitutional right. What have you done with agriculture within the state? Going further, interstate public transport and roads. Feeder roads. There are central government roads, interstate roads, and there is roads within the states. You ask state governments, what have you done with interstate roads, with feeder roads in our state? If you vote state members of parliament, if you vote the governor, you citizens of that state, you should also account them in the same way that you account the central government. I'm in opposition to the central government, but I'm also in opposition to the state governments today. The constitutional powers that are given to them, they have not done anything. They have not provided services. The education is also a competence of the state. What have you done with education? Taxation, I was working with the vice president in his PhD thesis. It is about taxation in South Sudan. We distributed through my office this PhD thesis to all governors and even to most commissioners. We printed over 100 copies, distributed even to ministers at the state level in order for them to carry out taxation at the state level, because this is an exclusive competence of the state. What have you done? So when we talk about federalism, and when I mention capacity, I'm mentioning capacity in the context of the fact that the state governments themselves have failed. They have failed to create institutions. They have failed to create a viable taxation system to raise taxes, because they were raising taxes. And when they raise these taxes, they did not project these taxes to build roads, to build schools, to give the Wanki Circuit Bitamoya to villages, to Payams, to counties. They have not done that. So it's not that the state did not have powers. The state have had powers for 15 years. These are constitutional powers. It's not about will. Federalism will give them the same powers. And it will be in a permanent constitution. Now it is in a transitional constitution, but it's going to be in a permanent constitution. But if it is the same people with the same behavior, federalism will not bring us Chinese to rule us. It will not bring us Americans to rule us.
You remember with 1 minute, Molana.
Okay, what I'm saying is that capacity is not lacking in terms of accountability itself. The Auditor General we have state audit chambers. The state parliaments have the right to exercise oversight of the state executive branch, over the governors, over the state ministers. Have the state parliaments called state ministers of education and asked them, what have you done with the state budget? This is not happening. So what I'm saying, federalism is good. Federalism is good, but it's good when there is a ground for that. Are we ready to establish this ground? If it is yes, let's go with it. It's well and good. I'm for federalism. I've written a book about decentralization, and I am for decentralization.
Thank you. Zaman bitag inta Maulana Mayen.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me. I will give you a chance because yes, it look like انت قاعد تفتح باب للحوار وانا قبل ما ادي فرصه لمولانا مانويل وتريزا وسيستا كايدي وقاعده تهد هناك برضو كده خلينا انا اضيف بعض النقاط لانه الحاجات اللي تذكروا ده مولانا ميان انا كنت اتمنى ان هنا يعني نكون صادقين وما يكون عمليه زي الدفاع عن الحكومه المركزيه. انت كنت بتعلم تماما انه النظام بتاعنا في جنوب السودان هو نظام مركزي.
يا ادوار خلينا بعدين احنا نرد للكلام ده.
لا دقيقه انا ارد انا في حاجه لازم اوضح وانا اترد اتعالج واترد اتكلم لانه ده انا اديكم فرصه.
فاشله. This is a world government in Africa.
Yeah.
So I'm not defending ما قاعد ادافع عنه. These are criminals.
اوكي كلام جميل جدا. انا داير اقول الكلام ده لانه قبل ما ادي مولانا ايمانويل الموارد في جنوب السودان النظام انه كله نظام عندنا في الجنوب نظام مركزي ما نظام لا مركزي. الكلام قالوا من مولانا ايمانويل ده يعني ده حاجه صوري. اللا مركزي عندنا في جنوب السودان ده حاجه صوريه حاجه انتقائي كويس يعني بس حاجه كده كتبوا في ورقه لكن عشان تيجي تلقاه مفصل ما في حتى اللي انت الدستور بتاع جنوب السودان بقول لك يا اخي انه طريقه الحكم في جنوب السودان تحكم بنظام فدرالي مش كده لكن تعال يا مولانا ميان انت كنت قاعد في جنوب السودان انت كنت مجلس تشريعي ماذا عن ما هو البند يعني الشفتر الكامل الموجود في الدستور بفصل كيفيه الفدراليه ده كيف تفصيله شنو المستوى بتاع كل مدن بتاع جنوب السودان حتى قانون بتاع الحكومه المحلي I have a copy of it قاعد في جوبا كويس. They did not talk about this كويس ليه؟ لانه already النظام اللي عندنا من ما طلعنا من السودان نظام مركزي لكن في ليه ناس عملوا كده ليه؟ Let us be honest لانه they want to control the resources ما دايرين الريسورسز تمشي يعني مثلا ناس يعني انت مثلا انت اتكلمت عن الموضوع بتاع كده حكام زاد انت قاعد تقولوا مولانا ميان ده حكام ده انا داير اخذ نقطه قبل ما ندي ناس دي يعني شوف انت خدت الموضوع بتاع الانتخاب بتاع الحكام في 2010 يا مولانا بتعرف يعني في على النيل لو بقى في المؤسسه بتاع الحركه الشعبيه اجبرت العضويه بتاع الحركه الشعبيه لاختيار الناس دايرينه الناس دايرهم كير we have to agree on this اننا ملكال ده لو كان فعلا انتخابات حره سايمون كون ما كان فاز على بروفيسور الدنيا بقى let us be honest ما كان فاز لكن لانه في توجيه من الكير انه زول دايرو ده ياوك ده عشان داير يسرق معه سوا وداير سايمون كون go to the other state ولو فعلا لو بقى في انتخابات حره في ملكال دكتور يوانس اكول هو اول بتاع النيل let us be honest لو كان ما في تزوير حركه شعبيه عملوا في الانتخابات دكتور مولانا يوانس اكول هو اول بتاع النيل في 2010 شوف امشي تعال امسك ايسترن اكواتوريا بكسوره فاز ليه؟ لانه وقف مستقل لكن شوف عمل له شنو؟ عشان كده لما نيجي نتكلم عن الموارد هاي صح الموارد كلها اللي بيجمعوها في ولايات بتمشي للقوميه الموارد ده بتمشي للعاصمه بعد ذاك العاصمه يفترض ترجع الميزانيه بتاع الولايه بتاع التنميه ما قاعد تجي من العاصمه للولايه عشان كده قاعد نتكلم المره اللي فات اتفقنا كلنا انت كنت موجود دكتور فرانسيس عندنا مشكله بتاعت غياده كويس عندنا مشكله بتاعت غياده في جنوب السودان الحاجه الثانيه لو كير زاد فات let us be honest مولانا ميان انا داير اتعلق فوق بعدين مولانا ايمانويل سوري مولانا تريزا يعلقوا فوقه حتى لو كير فات لو ما مولانا ايمانويل ده ميان ده انت زادك انت ده بقدر الرئيس بتاع جنوب بكره بالنظام المركزي انا بتحداك انت هتفشل بالنظام المركزي الموجود ده انا ادوار ده لو خطوك هناك في النظام الموجود ده ليه لانه انت لما تصل في السلطه ما ده سيستم، ده دستور بتاع الدوله كده كويس. عند الرئاسه هنا القياده اللي قاعده دي ما عنده افق بتاع انه انت كيف تقدر توزع القوانين له، لانه الدستور الطريقه ذاتها اللي نظموها الدستور انه انت ذاتك تعمل سيطره، ما كل هنا توزع المشاركه في السلطات وفي صنع القوانين. لا جيب شانس لمولانا ايمانويل اجاوين. دانا ويل كم باك تو يو بعدين. تفضل.
No, باشمهندس كلامك موجود في محله. And the same thing I've listened to Maulana Mayen. And Maulana Mayen has quoted extensively on the Constitution. Maulana is not what you have quoted is the main problem. Okay, I said that the essence of federal system is on two pillars: devolution of powers and devolution of wealth. The governors that you have talked about, they have no powers. Kir can dismiss them, which means if they do something contrary to what Kir wants them, they're out of the office. So they have no really political power per se. And we have seen how many governors Kir dismissed them. Okay? Now, you come to the wealth. The governor of the Upper Nile or the governor of the Taurit, how do you expect them to economically improve the life of their own citizens when 98% or 90% of their resources is taken to Juba? You know, what is it left for them? Okay, most of their resources taken to Juba. So what we are saying, Junior Sudan, we know is decentralized, and Edward has said it correctly. It's not even decentralized. It's a centralized system. Okay, it is a complete centralized system. At the police you're mentioning, Maulana, if you go today to Malakal or you go to Eastern Equatoria, you don't find the police from the same sons and the daughters from that ville, from that area. No, police are brought from everywhere, yes, including Sejun and all that. You know, I have relatives, for example, and police the same thing. So that's not really a federal system. You know, it's not a federal system. We know very well South Sudan is run on centralized system. But I would like to say the following, Bajmahandis. I think there's a consensus. There's a consensus. I think also, Maulana, let me correct this. My intervention earlier was what I saw as a disquiet from you, saying that, you know, federalism is expensive. You know, it is expensive. So when you say federalism is expensive, I took it by saying federalism is expensive, that it may not have been the favorable option that you prefer. But now you have come out clearly that you prefer federalism. So there's no point of divergence there. So I think, Bajmahandis Edward, there's a consensus that federalism is the way out of the country. Because the question that you put, which was the main important question from the beginning, is, are we a nation yet? And I think the panelists who came and discussed here agreed that South Sudan is far from being a nation. Because to be called a nation and to qualify to that level of nationhood, there's a lot of things that must be achieved. There's a lot of benchmark that must be achieved. We are in our infancy of nationalism and nationhood. Yes, we may exist as a state, but we are yet to exist as a nation. It will take time for us to progress. Now, if that's the case, then it goes without saying that what kind of system do you have? There are only two systems of governance. You either have decentralized, you either have division of power and wealth to the free-frees, or you have centralized form of governance. We are saying, given the experiences in the Sudan and given the experiences now in South Sudan, centralization is not the best option for us. You know, it's not even an option for us. It has created dictatorship. It has created tribalism to prosper. It has created a sense of harmonization. And as you put it correctly, it's not a matter of only Jing Council of Elders. In absence of proper laws and institutions in place, tomorrow, if you're a Zandi or a Mundari, you become president, you are bound to do that. You know, you'll also form a council, or your elders will form a council for you, you know, to advise you how to run and to benefit the community, you know. South Sudan now is our turn to eat. This is the man nakul, you know. So this can only be avoided by empowering the free-frees, the states. Now, the other issue that we are putting, that we have agreed that South Sudan needs federal system. Okay, what form of federalism do we want? We said what we don't want as South Sudanese is what we call the ethnic federalism. We also have a consensus on that. We don't want ethnic federalism. Okay, we want a federalism where each and every South Sudanese can feel free to move to any state that they wish to move. And Maulana also alluded to it, Maulana Tereza, that let us not only focus on oil. We have to diversify, our economy by creating tourism in our areas, by exploring non-oil agriculture, even human resources and other things. We have to empower them. And now, if I move from Warab State and I go to Jungule looking for a job, I will not be denied under federalism we want that because you come from Warab, no, we cannot employ you in Jungule. Of course not, that's nonsensical. We are saying let us create an even competition where all these states compete. And any Southern Sudanese citizen who feels or she feels like she want to get a job anywhere in South Sudan, let them feel free to do so. It will only be whether they will be employed or not will be determined by the experience and the academic credentials. This is a federalism we want for our country. Now, some people will tell you that federalism, the kokora, and we're telling them this is also nonsense. When federalism was demanded in 1947, was it kokora at that time? Even let us look at 82. And let us look at James Tumbra. Okay? James Tumbra, yes, fought the election on redivision. But it was not started by him first. Okay? It was started even before he came to power. Nimeri at that time we know very well. Nimeri بعد الاتفاقية بالسودان بينه وبين صادق المهدي وبعد الإسلاميين حسن الترابي دخل في الحكومة وبقى وزير العدل. They were jealous about the democracy that was going on in South Sudan. And they embarked on a plan of how to divide South Sudan since 1978. Okay? So this kokora, as people are saying it, the redivision, we knew that it actually started from the north. But what did the redivision actually mean? It actually meant dividing South Sudan into 3 regions. This is what happened. Now, the other consequences of it, others took it further, of people being chased from Juba, of course, going back to their homes. This also, I give analysis to it earlier, that this was also influenced by some of the Equatorians who actually came after the collapse of Idi Amin Dada. Some of them came from Uganda, having had all the access to the government, and they came to Juba and found a different dimension. And they wanted also to continue having that. The other issue also is malpractice. We have to be practical. But Ukida Balalier can hakim, bita Junub Sudan. He appointed Ruben Maj, bita Bulis. Ruben Maj, we knew what he did in Juba. If anybody who are non-Equatorian had a problem, Mazol Denkawi, bita Mozul Denka bita Bor, the same cattle we are talking today, and Tamshi Mahakam Mamshi Nukta Bulis, Budugu Ginta. So it developed a local sentiments, around this time, against Abel Alier, and also the whole Dinka was generalized to that the Jange, what Shulka will go, Fiandai Gashoro Marisa, but Kokora, Gala Yazola Itamala Gashoro Marisa, Itamas Kokora, what are you doing in Juba? Lema Mashe Beletkum, Gala Zamana Shulkawi, in the Tabur for us, Gala Azolukum Jange, the Harakat Minokum, Tabur Mar Shunu, Udukulukum Jange. But this is what we are trying to say, that it became a generalization because one sector of the community, was misusing the power that they had. All these are fears of the past. This does not prevent the reality we live in today in South Sudan. And the last thing I want to say, Edward, Junub Sudan, I keep on saying this. If we don't get it right this time, Junub will break up. Junub will break up, trust me.
Yes.
Sudan break up later, Edward. Sudan break up because when Junubin were demanding federalism, what happened? Shamalin Gal, no. Federation de mana infisal. There's no federation for one nation. Federation is separation. وقاتلنا لمدة كم 50 سنة. كم 50 سنة. Because الفدرالي بس رفضوا. من الفدرالية بقى انفصال. The same thing today, my dear brothers and sisters. If majority of South Sudanese are demanding federalism, and now you say, no, federalism is kokora, therefore we let us be against it. I'm telling you, sentiments will progress. Because what happens? War will continue. هتقتل ناس هيقتلوا بعضهم. كراهية هيزيد. غبلية هيزيد. So what will happen? هتلقى بكره ناس في غرب غزال هيقول يا زول هي انا ما ادري انه اكون جزء من جنوب ده. To hell with it. ابرنا زال ممكن نقول انا زال ممكن نقول زال ما ادري جنوب ده. انا بمشي. The same thing with the Stoyan Bar Ghazal. So we are saying, let us avoid these emotional talks. Let us look realistically. How does federalism work? What kind of federalism wants? So we have a win-win situation. We don't want a federalism that is based on ethnicity. is a federalism that everybody get their right to mahalo guide for. And I see if federalism is implemented, you're going to get your right within your state. So what we are saying is that federalism is the way out to go to. As to the constitution, Junub Sudan, if it was perfect, Hukuma would have not said that we need to write a permanent constitution. Constitutional is only having these preambles, you know, and Federalia. We are saying no, we need as a country, we agree on the roadmap plan of what constitution we want, what kind of federalism we want, with the federalism, what kind of separation of powers do we want to have, what are the concurrent powers, what are the residual powers, you know, that's required. Negative with this tour, you couldn't ما يكون زي حق 0.2 ولا 0.8 سناس بكره يكركروا دارين دستور يكون واضح عن الفدراليه وهو الفدراليه what are the rights that are there between the federal, between the state, and between the local government. This is the way forward, and this is how, my dear brothers and compatriots, this is how our country can develop, and that is how we can stop, you know, the Zandistan, the Nueristan, and the Shulugistan.
Thank you very much, Mulana. Thank you very much. Let's give floor to Sister Tereza.
شكرا مولانا ايمانويل لهذه التوضيحات. انا بس كنت بس داير اوضح حاجات شويه كده انه برضو نقاط بتاع حوار لو مولانا مين دنگديت طبعا بكون تحت هناك سامعني. هو السبب انا اتكلمت انا ذكرت الموضوع بتاع انه the issue of the system of the governance, because he mentioned something that we already, like, the way we are now is a halfway federal system. And that's the reason I went to the constitution itself and I read there بأنه الدستور بتاعنا في الدستور ذكر بأنه النظام بتاعنا هو decentralization. And that's the point. And about the constitution, when we say we will have a new constitution, because what we have right now is an interim constitution, it's not permanent. That's the difference that Maulana Mayen Dengdit should understand. And he mentioned something about that, those of Richard Kadimula. By the way, he's from Western Equatoria, from Muru, precisely from Western Equatoria, not Eastern Equatoria. So I just want to say, those of Kadimula, when they came, it was in 2016. They put him to be the minister of federalism. You know, Hajat Bita Siyasinda. So when they want to kill something, they just bring you to put you like picture what the Sudan used to do to the people of South Sudan. Those leaders who used to be in the position. He was basically not doing anything. So he came through the 2015 agreement. So you guys have seen him when he was even complaining that like he was talking that I don't get it. Now they are saying that I'm here a minister of the federalism, but yet nothing is going on. So I want to tell my brother Maulana Mayen, Richard Kedimula is there just a picture, he's not doing something. So the other thing that they now started to bring him, you know, on the TV the other day doing this kind of shows talking about the federalism. This is only a show of the narcissist harakat al hakumat bita Sudan amol. We know this kind of attitude with you know, the experience from Sudan. We are not children, we are learning from history. We don't want to repeat ourselves, but we know that. So he talked about something that we should actually ask as the governors of those states, because those governors was voted in. The only election that we have was in 2010. That was actually when Sudan was won. That election, those people were elected, those governors was elected, but what happened here? This is what we want to tell you about. We need the permanent constitution. Those governors were voted in by the people of South Sudan. But what did Kir do? He came and fired those elected governors by the people. This is actually a breach to the constitution. Lano, ده العيوب اللي احنا قاعدين نتكلم بانه في النظام الفدرالي كير او اي رئيس في السلطه في كرسي بتاعه ما حيقدر يتدخل عشان يعفي ولاء منتخبين من قبل الشعب، لانه ده اراده بتاع الشعب يا جاب الناس دي. هسه الولاء الموجودين من 2012 لانه those people were fired. اول زول the first victim of the decree of President Kiir was Bashmuhandis Celto بتاع Lake State. He was the first one being fired and he was elected by the people. You see, this is something that I want to tell you. Those governors that came in 2012, they were all chosen by Kiir. They are not elected by the people of South Sudan because we did not have any election after the independence of South Sudan. When we are talking about that where is those like if there is any no service on the ground from those states, we should ask those governors. We know that the Juba as a capital, although there is two government in that area of Juba, there is a local government of the state, central state, or the, let's say before also Jubek state, and the national government. Those two, sometimes even the national government is taking more from the states. They are sacking it. They are not giving even to the rest of the state. That's why we are seeing العيب اللي احنا قدرنا نعالجه بالنظام الفدرالي، لانه النظام الفدرالي عنده معالجه بتاع محاربه بتاع فساد اللي بيحصل في ظل النظام اللامركزي او المركزي. الرقابه بتكون ضعيفه جدا لانه كل حاجه في السنتر، كل حاجات متمركز في السنتر. لكن في النظام في الولايات كان بقى عندك في النظام الفدرالي مع الدساتير المحليه مع القوه بتاع الشعب، لانه بيشارك في التصويت لاختيار الولاء اللي بيمثلهم. عندهم الحق هم يقولوا الليله الزول ده احنا ما دايرينه، هنعمل انتخابات جديد ونصوت نجيب ممثل بتاعنا جديد. This is something that اللي بيحصل في ظل النظام الفدرالي. وده النقطه انا داير نقول انه شنو عشان نمنع انه ما يكون في السيطره بتاع السلطه كله في السلطه التنفيذيه. النظام الفدرالي ممكن يعالج ده، والعيوب بتاع النظام اللامركزي والنظام المركزي ده بيكون كله بيتركز في موضوع بتاع انه الرقابه بتكون بسيطه، لكن في ظل النظام الفدرالي الرقابه بتكون قويه لانه بيصل لمراحل لادنى مستويات. يعني ما بيكون في نوع من سرقه هنا او كده، لكن هنا everything can be controlled. في النظام اللامركزي او المركزي الرئيس بيتدخل وممكن يغير حاجه في اي ولايه، ممكن يطرد يعفي اي والي من ولايات. لكن في النظام الفدرالي هو ممكن يعمل كده لانه في دستور محلي بيحكم الولايات ده، حتى لو في دستور قومي هناك اللي هو الفدرالي، لكن ما بيسمح انه الرئيس يتدخل يجي يعمل اي حاجه زي ما كير هسه قاعد يعمل. فانا داير نقول ببساطه كده اصلا في السيستم اللي عندنا موجود هنا ده نظام ديكتاتوري ما عنده اي علاقه باي سيستم. انا يا اخوي ادوارد النقطه انا داير اضيفه، لو في حاجه ثانيه ممكن تقول لي otherwise.
Yeah, thank you. No, actually, already Kaidi ومولانا مين ونجيب مولانا مانويل, so we give the final statement, then we conclude. Sister Kaidi, لو عندك تعليق تفضلي.
Yeah, Brother Edward. I just want to add something for Brother Mayen, because sometimes when the things that happen, not everybody is aware that they're happening. You might have the perfect idea, the perfect system in your mind, but is it really working, or is it just something that people say it should work that way? I personally, I said I work at the Ministry of Local Government, and when you blame the governors for not using the revenues raised to build roads or do any development, by the way, you can find the commissioner giving orders. يا جماعة نادوا كله ينادى التاكس collectors there كله يجي يوردوا حسلة because somebody is waiting to go to Juba now دارين قروش في Juba. So this is happening. It happens. So I don't think that the money is being kept in the state. No, all the money is just going to Juba. And they say no, when you ask, because as a county we do have a program for your county, but then they say no, we'll do Gurush for Juba, and then after that Juba will give the money for development, but the money doesn't come. So maybe according to you, that's what you know, that the governors did nothing. But I know, yes, they too are part of the corruption. They do take money when they're sending Juba. They take some and put in their pockets as well. However, like Juba has a very long arm in anything that comes to revenues. Yeah, Juba has a very long arm, and that one is not just like we mentioned. Like federalism is any system of government is because there's an issue that you want to address, and if you decide to address it in a certain way, you prefer a certain type of governance so that it's better. Like in 1947, our chiefs, they demanded for federalism, and we came back, and now we are back as a state. But those there's not much change that has happened. Like now, the new Arab is become the Kir government, and we are looking at federalism as the method that we could solve these problems with, and we're looking at federalism as the way of life that we want to live. Because if this way is not available for me in the system that is present at the moment, then I have to choose for myself the best way that I can live my life the way I want it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Kaidi, for being brief. And I think by saying this, we reach to the final of our discussion tonight. And then I will give each of you kind of 3 minutes to just say the final word to the viewers on the topic. And then also the discussion will communicate and agree on what we are going to discuss next, because this kind of discussion, it needs to be continued. So let me start with Maulana Mayen.
Thank you. It's been a great discussion. What I'm saying is that Juba has failed, and the states have also failed. In January 2018, before I resigned and left, we were with a delegation. We went to Rank, and we stayed in one of the 3 houses of the Minister of Health. It was a maze, a huge structure. This is for the Minister of Health. So I was telling our delegation, I wish this was a hospital. I was even directing them, well, this is an operation room. This is what they were laughing at me. You know, I'm saying these state ministries had powers. Every state minister of the 10 states have become a millionaire. So this is one. The second thing, just to talk about K. Muller. Richard K. Muller, I've worked with him for a long period of time. I was the legal advisor in the CDA committee in the parliament. Richard K. Muller was the chair. He's one of the most qualified South Sudanese, one of the most courageous SPLM members. He spoke his mind, and he speaks his mind. I'm sure he is not going to be there, Kasura, not Richard K. Muller. I assure you of that. Sorry, I said in Eastern Equatoria. I know he's from Buru, Western Equatoria. The national dialogue itself, let us not argue on a presumption that federalism has been rejected. The national dialogue, regional conferences in Barghazal, in Equatoria, in Upper Nile, concluded that all the delegates want federalism. The recommendation of the national dialogue brought to Juba that federalism is the way forward. The peace agreement itself has adopted federalism as a way forward. So nobody is against federalism. That presumption should be thrown out of the window. The only thing is about the capacity at local level that let us work and build. Let us not repeat the same mistakes that we have under this decentralization that looks like federalism. Because it is, after all, autonomy that we want. Whether it is a decentralized autonomy or a federal autonomy, this is all about devolution of powers. That was my point. I will not fight for federalism. I will not raise arms for federalism if there is a good decentralized system in place. Thank you so much. It's been a great discussion, and thank you for the panelists. I've really benefited a lot from you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maulana Mayen, for the final contribution. And actually, all of us, we do agree, as you mentioned, the good or the way forward is implementing federalism system. And also, I will rise up the issue of capacity building in the state, because as you mentioned, we'll bring it up here as a topic. How can we actually try to discuss the issue of capacity building within the country and even within the state? Namshile Mola, let's go to listen to Maulana Emmnuel Ajawin.
No, thank you very much, Baj Mahandis, and I also thank my learned and educated panelists. We have been having really a very intellectual discussion, very enriching, regardless of the different views that we have here and there, which is not much anyway. There's not really much differences. It's just in terms of details of it. So I think the discussion is really important, and it has been a very successful discussion so far, in my own opinion and in my own assessment. Now we have already finished the issues and addressing the pertinent questions of moving forward. We have agreed now federalism is a good option for our country. It's not the best, but at least it's the option that we have now that we think can work for our people. That we think that will create and glue all the people of South Sudan together, so that we could see ourselves in that mirror called South Sudan, regardless of whether you are Kuryang from Bibor, or you are Mathiang from Baragazal, or you are Gorkujo from Western Baragazal, or you are Marif KG from Central Equatoria, or Obaj in the northern part of the Upper Nile. We want a country where we could all see ourselves in it, and we can do that with the federalism. The next discussion I would like us to have, hopefully with your permission, Baj Mahandis, is to concentrate on what are the elements of federalism that we want. How do we make it strong in terms of the constitution that we're going to have? You know, what are the important elements that need to be need to be stipulated clearly in the constitution, so that we could protect federalism that we want. And also, we need also to address the issues of you know, of the economical benefit of federalism, how we could really, as South Sudanese, could actually transform our federalism, which becomes our unity, and hence become the foundation for the economical powerhouse of South Sudan, so that the dreams that we are having as a people, in terms of having a country where everybody could eat, nobody will die from hunger, where we could have good education, where we could have good health system, where we could have good roads, and also how we can even contribute in our foreign policy to the Eastern African community and to IGAD, you know. So let us move now on to solidifying the federalism. What are the legal parameters that we need and legal bulletproof that we need to make this federalism strong? And then we look at the economical aspect of it, because then is a problem in our country. So what we need to do is to ensure that people will have bread on their table to eat, you know, that people can live to achieve their aspiration. We, the people of South Sudan, we are tired of exile. We have spent our lives in exile. Our children are born in exile. We are now even growing in exile. Salah was the lad in Ras. You know, we are in exile still. It's very painful. We're supposed to be back in our country, contributing in our youth while we still have energy. Because tomorrow, when we start reaching our 60s, you know, the sun will set on us. And the energy that we have now is not going to be longer there. And we'll be like those old men who said, we wish we stood up, you know, against the dictators and change. We don't want to be sitting down in our old age, you know, regretting that we did not do enough as youth. So that's why we are saying, let us have this debate. Let us as youth come up with a roadmap plan, or what I may call the freedom charter, like the ANC, where you have the economical aspect and plan of how you can transform your country. So we hope in the next debate, we could actually move to these substantive issues. Thank you,
thank you, Maulana Emmnuel Ajawin. Please try to put those the title in writing, forward it to me after we finish the show, and let us agree also. I will see Maulana Mayen and Tereza and Kaidi نتفق إنه لو نينا قدرنا نتفق المقترح اللي قدمه مولانا إيمانويل. Then we can try to bring it up tomorrow at 7, because by Saturday or Monday, I'm going to discuss a different topic. So I will have time tomorrow to bring the topic up so we can finish it. زي ما قال مولانا مالو المخترع ده نكون عشان نقفل الباب ده ونمشي للمخترع للموضوع تاني في الأسبوع الجاي إن شاء الله. So let us listen to Sister Tereza. Let's give you 3 minutes. We remain now with
Yeah, thank you, Brother Edward, and I also want to thank all my colleagues here, Sister Kaidi, and also the two Malanas, Mayen Dengdit and Emmnuel. It's quite important that we need to talk about this topic and to make it clear to our people. We are not here claiming that we are better in knowledge and so on, but with the little that we have, that's why we are coming here sharing our ideas, so we can at least find a way, find a solution for the hegemony or for the ills that we have in South Sudan. And I want to also say something very clear here. Our people, when they came in 1947 and they talk about the federalism, in that time they were actually less educated people. So when they came with it, they were not stupid. They know what they were doing. The other thing that I want to say, if someone will come that our people, then you're lying to yourself. Those are the same people who stood in the lines in 2010 when they went to register for referendum to vote for the independence of this country, and also in 2011 they voted for independence. So they were already يعني هم وصلوا في مرحلة بتاع الوعي. انت ما عليك ان تديهم الافكار بصورة نظيف بصورة كويسة. عشان كده احنا لو نتكلم هنا ما قاعد نتكلم عن الفدرالية القبلية، بنتكلم عن الفدرالية بتاع انه اي انسان بيحس بانه هو من هذا الوطن وهو كريم، بيعيش بكرامة، بيحترم حقوقه، بيعبر عن رأيه. ما في زول حتى لو هو قاعد في تحت شجر بتاع مانجا ولا قاعد تحت لوك بتاعه، هو بيكون معزز مكرم في مكان بتاعه. ده هو الفدرالية احنا نتكلم عنه. يكون عنده خدمات، عنده مستشفى في محله، ما يمشي يشيل جناو من تون يجي لحد واو. تبني له مستشفى توفر له الخدمات في محل بتاعه، تبني له شارع عشان هو ذاته يقدر يستخدم شارع ده يوصل خضار بتاعه والحاجات اللي عنده للولايات الثانيه. ده الفدراليه اللي احنا بنتكلم عنه. احنا ما قاعدين نتكلم عن فدراليه بتاع القبليه ولا الفدراليه، احنا دايرين حاجه بينظمنا عشان ما نتشتت وما افكارنا ما تتشتت، وندي فرصه للعالم الثاني تيجي تتدخل وتاخذ ما لدينا ويفتت ما بيناتنا. فده نقطه احنا دايرين نتكلم. ولما زول يجي يتكلم هنا ما تعين له بانه هو من قبيله الفلاني، ما تعين له بانه هو ينتمي من هذا التنظيم او ذاك. انظر له كجنوبي هو قاعد يتكلم في حاجه الواقع الحقيقه اللي فعلا احنا دايرين علاج. احنا في الطين، احنا دايرين علاج اللي بيطلعنا من طين بتاع وحله القبليه، وحله الفساد، وحله الحاجات الحاصل، الامراض الحاصل في البلد بتاعنا ده. فالفدراليه هو الحل في كشكل من شكل اشكال
life for the people for the time being, because unfortunately we have been let down by our leaders. Their lack of political will has made us feel that we need to have a different system. However, we need also not to forget that we don't want to transport the same system into our federal system if we're doing it. So that's why I usually prefer that if there's a legislature, it shouldn't go faster than the conception of the human mind. So we have to develop our people, prepare them for the system so that it can be workable. I'm so happy. Last time I was I just want to apologize because when Emmnuel Ajawin was talking, I was laughing about something, but it was not because of what you're saying. There's some comments here going about Mayen Dengdit and what is his real name is, and some people are saying, so I saw a message, that's not his real name, and it made me laugh. So it was nothing to do with what Brother Ajawin was saying. So I'm happy that Mayen brought up the issue of taxation. Last time in the show, I talked about that. Tomorrow, come with me, I'm going to talk about football, and they took it as a joke. Huh?
That is my real name.
I know. That's why I laugh, because I know you. That's why I laugh, because I know you. Even if you're David, and I know that you're Mayen as well. Yeah, I'm happy that he brought up the issue of taxation. When I talked about my show last time, people were laughing and they thought it was a joke, but we did it. It was good. And somebody called me today that talk about revenues, how we can non-oil revenues in South Sudan. So I was asking, and who's going to be the person? But now I'm happy to be here. I found one of them would be Mayen. Will come and join me. So thank you so much. Hopefully we will meet often to discuss further about these issues and other issues that is important to our country. Thanks.
شكرا سيستر كايدي. انا افتكر مولانا ميان الكونكلوشن بتاع بكره انا بستضيف فوق مولانا ميان ومولانا تريزا ومولانا مانويل to finalize نحدد الاليمنت بتاعت الفدرالي اننا دايرينه في جنوب السودان. So in 1 minute, because we remain the 7 minutes, Maulana Mayen, Tereza, and Maulana Emmnuel, let us agree on Zaman. If we agree on 7, by the shoulder, I will be in contact with Ambassador Emmanuel, so to formalize the topic, and then I will share the topic with Tereza and Maulana Mayen, and also we will post the topic on the page so our viewers they can follow. So because we want it tomorrow, let us finish the topic with actually good resolution. So what do you think, Maulana Mayen, Tereza, Emmanuel? Mayen?
It's okay. 7 is fine.
That is good. Ambassador Emmanuel. Tereza?
7 is fine, yeah.
That is very
7
good.
is good, yeah.
شكرا. خلينا أشكركم. أشكر مولانا تريزا, Sister Kaidi, مولانا ميان, مولانا إيمانويل, brother Dhol Larjin, and also brother أستاذ جوبك جبال هو جاء لكن الشبكة ما قدرنا نمشي قدام. أنا الليلة ده شو بتاع الليلة قدرنا نستفيد إنه السيستم ده ما داير 6 نفر يكونوا في الشبكة because whatever cable you are using. أنا مرة فات كنت قاعد استخدم النت الوايرلس العادي كان فيه مشكلة. So I try to use the cable. It's very good when I'm using the cable. Even
ما قلنا لك قبل لكن عملت نص الشلكاوي.
yeah. معلش ما هو already قال لك اسمع جنوب ده.
يلا
انت ما قاعد تفهم؟ قال لك انا افهم كيف يا جنوب ده قاعد تفهم بعد ماشي.
نقول جلباي ولا نقول مديانك او بقول له جو بوندو ساكت.
ما نفتش مشاكل يا مولانا.
هم 3 حاجات جلباي
ما نفتش مشاكل.
ده كله 3 ده نفس ما انا واحد.
يا انت ما نفتش مشاكل وانا خليني
جنجي ساكت.
مديان
ولا دور فات كمان.
قلت له انت ده شنو يا مولانا مديان
Yangi jalba ju gondo sakit.
دور فات كمان كنت فوقه.
اسمه شنو؟
دور فات.
ده شنو؟
sakit.
ده ولا دكتور
يا دول بتاعك ساكت بعضهم ضم ساكت.
يا خليني يعني هنا ما ضحكنا من الفترة بتاعت شو. It's one of the serious discussion. So خلينا نشكركم ونهنا يعني بجد يعني بنقدم نموذج. الناس طبعا مرة اللي فات بيقولوا لي أنا جبت مولانا ميان وإيمانويل تريزا but actually دايرين أقول للناس إنه دايرين نرسل الرسالة. And Aizol, you are willing to come to the show. ما عندنا أي مشكلة. خلينا نشكركم كلكم. You have a good evening. Enjoy your evening and you have a good night. Tomorrow إن شاء الله هنتلاقى بكرة الساعة 7. So الناصر كل زول يجهز نفسه. بعد شوي we will share the topic عشان كل زول يقدر يعمل research بتاعه. So tomorrow لأنه we are building system to our country. That's why لأننا كنا مسكنا النقاش ده عشان نصل للنقاط. بدل كنا خاطينه ده 5 الفدرالية تنسي في 4 tomorrow. So you have a good night. Thank you so much.
Good night, Bajmahandis. Good night, guys.
Yeah, thank you. خليني برضو أنا أشكر مشاهدين بتاعت منبر صوت الشعب. خلينا نشكركم ويعني سعيدين جدا انه يعني نحن كنتوا معنا خلال الثلاث شهور الماضيه بالذات الشو بتاع الليله، وفي نقاشنا القضيه بتاعت الفدراليه او تطبيق الفدراليه في نظام الفدرالي في جنوب السودان او اختيار النظام السياسي المناسب. برضو انا بشكر دكتور فرانسيس مارشيلو، هو كان معنا خلال الشوات المضت، يعني الاول والثاني he did a very good job, very constructive discussion مع مولانا ايمانويل ومولانا ميان وسيستو ومولانا تريزا. انا بشكرك. برضه هو قبل اشار لنقطه مهمه جدا اللي هنا بكره نشير له. قبل فرانسيس كان عنده زول عيان، عشان كده هو ما قدر يجي ينضم لنا في الشو، لكن برضه هو اشار قبل انه حتى لو نحن عملنا نظام فدرالي في جنوب السودان وما عندنا قياده سياسيه قويه بكون عندنا مشكله. We hope also tomorrow Nina will mention that in our final discussion tomorrow when we are discussing the issue of the important elements of federalism we need in our country, or we need to put them as the element of federalism to be implemented in good way in South Sudan. خلينا نشكركم مشاهدين. أنا بشكركم للزمن بتاعتكم ل4 ساعات، وبشكركم برضو لأنه you share the live video. برضو في ناس بيجوا هنا طبعا يعني بيكتبوا كلام إساءات وشتايم. برضو I did not want to block anyone, but في ناس منهم I will just warn them إنه the way اللي بيكتبوا والشتايم والإساءات, please try to improve yourself. لما انت قاعد ناقش تطور الطريقة بتاعت كتاب بتاعت الاختلاف. شكرا لكم. ربنا يبارك فيكم، ربنا يبارك في جنوب السودان. و you have a good evening. Thank you. Okay, almost we have less than 1 minute.